What a night in New York. That's right. I know. Everybody, please have a seat. Tell that guy in the back to put the matches down. Put the lighter away. Listen, we're going to have a great show for you guys. I'm very excited and outstanding panels here with all of us. Guys, let me just say this much real quick, okay? We've got the New York Mets are playing tonight against the Atlanta Braves. And even though it's not actually postseason baseball, it's kind of postseason baseball because the winner of this series pretty much takes it all home. Shout out to Derek James. I see him here. Greatness only. DC Gaming. D-Watts here. I saw your boy Roy, and I'm telling you guys, I had a phenomenal time talking to these individuals before the show went live. Guys, take a second here, will you please? And hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I want to say thank you to every single one of you guys. We crossed the 11,000 mark on YouTube. And, you know, for a guy who does a show a week, that means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. I would like to do even more content. You guys know we're over at twitch.tv, Mooch TV, and we're doing our thing over there. But I got to tell you, this truly warms my heart, man. It means a lot. So if you look at the description down there, you'll see the join button. Right there, that join button. A lot of folks that are in the chat right now have joined the channel, and I can't say how much that helps. I do have these giveaways. I'm deciding whether I want to do them. I was kind of waiting for Sony to do their big show to do a giveaway, right? But I might just do the giveaway on Twitch, or maybe we'll do it on a different show I have planned. I've got a couple of one-on-one interviews coming up the end of October, so I'm excited to announce that as well. Guys, let me just say thanks to these guys one by one, and I'm going to get to this phenomenal panel. Look at Steady Flows here, Talus, Ham Solo. Ham, what's up, buddy? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Wouldn't be here without all of you guys. Philip, what's going down? I want to say thanks to the great Sir X-Man, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Frostbite Slash, MumbleRanting Gaming, Tyson Web 509, TrueWiddy, Big Chuck 777, Alphonso Carter, BRAP, Jamie, Damion, the great Jimmy Harrison, who's also here, Andy Hart, DadOfWar, Isaac Gentry, ArchWarAngel, he's here, Red Hood, who is also going to be here for you this evening. It's an honor to have him here. Hustle and Motivate. Shout out to Hustle. Our major Mooch Maniacs, SlaynChilean, FAKEManBearPig, one of the best names on YouTube. Gaming with Persona and Jay Bari. You might hear from someone. You might hear from one of those guys. The great What's Up PlayStation had the great Sean Layden on last week. Outstanding 100th episode. We'll get into that in a moment. Domino Zero, Supreme Samurai, Who Are You 5, your boy Roy, Smokes 901, Tactical Gamer, Danelle Brown, That Guy Spinny, Force Our General, By and B, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, and our VIP Mooch Maniacs, Forkboy Gaming, Shadow Assassin, Strictly! And the wise old gamer and our honorable mentions. We miss you guys. You're out there without food, water, or toilet. The great Percolator 9000, Marty Bison, Olamoka 17, Ashish Rana, Remarkable Night, Zambila Ice Cream, and our forever Mooch Maniac, Longshot 316. Shout out to Mizzle T Shizzle as well. I see him out there. You guys are phenomenal. Please like it, share it out. The link is in the chat. I'll post it again in a minute. But let me get to this amazing panel, guys. This amazing, amazing panel. He hasn't been here for a few weeks, and when he's here, his presence is known. He's got his briefcase open. He's got all of his notes. His paralegals waiting in the other room. He just flew in. The Xbox defense lawyer is back, and I think we're going to need him tonight. The great Xbot 448. Xbot, how you doing this evening, buddy?
Yo, what's going on, Mooch? What is up, panel? What is going on, chat? Yes, the Mets. The Mets are playing tonight, bro. And all I got to say, let's go Mets.
Let's
time.
Do this. It's about time. I feel it. It's our year, guys. I feel it. Shout out to David DR. He says, happy belated birthday. Guys, thank you for all the birthday wishes, too, this past Tuesday. It was an outstanding birthday. Had a great time, and it really meant a lot to have all those warm wishes by you guys on Twitter. Let me get into our next guest here. You guys know who he is. The great Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Hopefully alcohol level below 1.0. BRAP! BRAP, how the hell you doing?
Yeah, no alcohol tonight, Mitch.
Yes,
I was joking.
Well,
man.
you get me nervous. You get me nervous.
Yeah, no, I did. No, I did a quick BRAP rant, but you know, Mooch, you are probably familiar with
yes,
Prime Rib or the restaurant, the Prime Rib, or maybe Morton's or
Morton's. Yes,
we have Ruth's Chris.
I've been to Morton's and Ruth's Chris.
Okay, so I'm sitting here, dining on Ruth's Chris. While the console peasants are arguing over McDonald's. It's good to be a PC gamer.
Oh, well, you know, listen, I'm glad you bring that up because we got some special guests on tonight that may have a couple of words to say about the PC space, BRAP, and I really want to hear what they have to say. So I'm glad you're enjoying your steak. Just have a couple more bites. Wash it down with a little bit of Cabernet, and we'll get right back to you, buddy. Listen, now we got our special guest here. This means a lot to me. I'll go ahead and start with him. He needs no introduction. The man's had the former, CEO himself, president of PlayStation, on their channel last week. The one half, the one half of What's Up PlayStation, the best lisp in New York, and on podcasting. Jay Barry, welcome back to CrossFire, buddy. It's been way too long. How you doing this evening?
Yo, what is good, guys? What is up, YouTube? What's up, PlayStation Nation, man? Appreciate the invite, man. It's going to be a good one. I see from the title of the podcast. Man, the topics that people are talking about throughout the week. What a crazy week, huh? But nah, man, I appreciate the invite, man. We're going to have some fun show with how it's done on TGIF. Crossfire,
thank you for bringing that back, Jay. I've always wanted to use that, but I didn't know if I was dating myself. I'm glad you said it.
We telling our age, but it's all good.
Yes, we are, man. Jay, great to have you here. The great Red Hood of 420. You know, I got the honor to meet Red. He's been showing up to a lot of my Twitch streams, and he does a phenomenal job on the RGT show that airs just before us with the great BitCloud Gaming and Blaze 4K and Hunter. Red, listen, I got to be honest with you. You know, I just want to let the audience know you're here on your phone. You are in the Carolinas, and you are kind of heading in. This storm is heading into your area if it's not there already. And power's out, but you're here on the phone. It means the world to me that you actually stopped by the show. I look forward to talking this evening. Red, how you doing tonight? And thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Power out and all, so only devices I got left is like my Steam Deck and my phone. But great to be on, like always. I met Jay Barry, I believe actually at Century's podcast. We did like years ago, so it was great to hear from him again as well. Yeah. So yeah, fast. So yeah, appreciate being on, and shout out to also, BitCloud and Blaze for giving me, opportunity along with you, Mooch.
Absolutely. Listen, Red, and to be honest with you, I just want to extend one more thank you to Red. Listen, you guys don't understand. He's without power. He's literally using his 2 power backups right now to be on the show.
Just to be here,
to be on this show. Yeah. So I can't say thank you enough. Shout out to SlaynChilean, who's also in the chat. Our last year special guest. This is an honor for me. Been following him for a very long time on Twitter. He went ahead and started his own YouTube channel just a short time ago. Pile White Wolf, in case you didn't know. But I got to be honest with you. What is he known for? Well, he's known for showing us all those unbelievable Sony PlayStation burgers that he eats every Friday afternoon. He's also notorious for opening and having the best unboxings on Twitter and YouTube, period. Where he uses his mouth, his hands, his feet, everything to tear the damn thing apart. The great Pio is with us tonight. It's 1 a.m. for Pio, and he's here hanging out with us on this great show airing from New York. Pio, welcome to Crossfire for the first time, buddy, and I got to say, hopefully it's not the last time, buddy, because I can't wait to hear what you got to say. How are you this evening?
I'm very, very good. I'm very good. Like you say, it's later here, but I got energy, though. I got energy. I had my cheat day today, so I'm all carved up and ready to go, basically.
That's what I want to hear, buddy. That's what I want to hear. I did the same thing before the show. It's probably why I need to exercise a little more. That, Nonetheless, I like to put our guests on the hot seat first and foremost. So, Pio, allow me to ask you the question first here. This has been the hot news, especially over the last 24 to 48 hours. And I've got a lot to say on this subject, but I really want to hear what you have to say. So, Google decides to close up shop on Stadia, right? Now, everybody proclaims Stadia dead on day one, yet it's been the latest breaking news. Everyone's acting like it's a big shock. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. But nonetheless, I want to ask you twofold. Here's the question. Where and what did Stadia do wrong from the first place? And where are we on cloud gaming as a whole, as it goes for a hardcore and a casual gamer?
Well, I think the main issue was that you never owned the game at all. You had to stream them.
Yes.
So you're basically paying for a service and you're paying full price for the game to not own them, right? So to summarize, let's say PlayStation or Xbox, from their end, streaming is just an option, which I think streaming is always going to be an option for games, but that's not only the option like Google had it. So it's who only wants to stream? If you have the internet to stream a game in 4K, why not just download it and play it locally?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So to me, I know what Stadia wants is just nothing, no console, just plug in and play. Well, I do think that's going to be an option, but I don't see many people have as the option, especially for online games. Like, why would you do that at all?
Well, let me ask you this, because a lot of people in the States want to know this, Pio. Over in Europe, what's the situation when you hear cloud gaming? And I mean, you can kind of speak for the hardcore. I think you kind of hang out with the hardcore crowd more often. Would you say that they're into it? And is the capability there?
It depends on what country. So, like, I live in Sweden, so we have like very good internet, and I literally only know one person who got Stadia, and they only got it because of like you got some Chromecast thing. That's the only reason why they got it, and they got like a huge discount on it. And that person played Cyberpunk because he also got it for free, but he never bought a game otherwise than that. So it's like, I literally have like the hardcores of hardcore people that I know, and all of them play on either console or just PC, and none of them have interest in like streaming at all. Like they're like, why, like just ask me why.
So basically, Stadia closing over in Sweden right now, that's not affecting anybody.
No, I literally have like at work, like all my, like I work in IT, right? So like they're very like gaming people, right? So even like no one knew about it until I told them. I was like, what do you think about Stadia closing down? They're like, oh, do they? No, I don't care.
Yeah,
that's like their reaction. Like they didn't care about it.
Seems same thing here, believe it or not, Pio. I got to say, Jay Bari, I know you've been kind of going back and forth with a lot of folks on Twitter. Where are you with the whole cloud gaming from the beginning? Not just, I mean, everyone wants to pick on Stadia for the next 24 hours. That's fine, but everyone's proclaimed Stadia dead about a year and a half ago, and I believe Stadia launched. I can check it right now.
People proclaimed Stadia dead when they announced it. What are you talking about, bro?
Everybody was saying it was dead from the announcement. That's true.
Because the structure, the monetization structure and what they were trying to do, and not having any native hardware as well, that's pretty much what killed them.
Yes,
let's be real.
Yes, them not having a dedicated box XBot, I completely do agree with you. But the reason I said a year and a half ago or so is once they closed down those studios that they had opened, that was
first party.
Their first
when
party.
They closed their first party.
That was the nail in the coffin. That was when I was like, this is completely. That's why when they were like, Stadia's closing, and literally, if you scroll through your YouTube feed, there's 7,000 videos. I can't believe Stadia's dead. Stadia's dead, and everyone's announcing it like it's like we didn't know.
I don't know how anybody is surprised. I don't know how anybody is surprised, especially when at least a lot of people I know. And Mooch, you were catching like a lot of shit for this, man. Like
I don't know.
They're saying, yeah, it's already dead. Like it's not gonna last. Well, first off, it's Google. And you don't know how dedicated they are to new stuff because they drop new stuff the way your wife changes her mind. Basically, let's be real on this.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
This is Google's known for this, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, so let me see, Jay, I got to get the great Jay Barr in here. Jay, what's your take on this whole thing? Really, start from inception to where we are today, and it's not just a Stadia rant. I really do kind of want this conversation to metamorphosize into cloud gaming because there still is a push. I mean, it is Microsoft that's doing it, and we'll get into how Microsoft's able to continue to do it later. But what's your take on cloud gaming, and does Stadia even hold a chance in your book?
Yeah, like I'm a firm believer in cloud gaming. I think is cool technology. For anybody that wants to divulge into it, it's for convenience. It's not like for anything hardcore gaming, but if you're traveling or if you're just in certain situations where you probably don't have the TV or whatnot, you can just have whatever game accessible to you. Yeah, I've been on cloud gaming since day one. PS Now, on Live, and I thought that Google Stadia, it worked. It was actually well implemented as far as the streaming and how the latency was really, really low, and the quality of the stream was really high as well. But the failure will Google Stadia is the business plan. The business plan that sucked. Nobody's going to be paying retail price for something that they don't own. You know what I mean? It's not even something that you can download onto the console.
That's correct. Well, that was Xbox's biggest deal, and I think Xbox hit the nail on the head as well, with saying there was no dedicated hardware. But is that also what is gonna? Is that what's gonna curse Luna as well?
No,
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on Luna. I didn't do no real research on Luna, but like I experienced Stadia. I had Stadia for like a couple of months. Oh yeah, real talk. nobody really takes an L from Stadia. You know what I mean? You might look crazy a little bit because you probably jumped on the business plan of what they're doing. But at the end of the day, Google is refunding anybody that spent any money on there. So you're not really taking an L at the end of the day. But yeah, the business plan sucked, and that's what really made Stadia fail.
Yeah. Yo, real quick on the whole Luna thing. Yo, Luna is not going to be the same way because and correct me if I'm wrong, Mooch. You know more about this than I do when it comes to it, but I believe Luna is attached to Amazon Prime.
Yes, it is.
All right, so everybody and their mother already has Amazon Prime. So for very little investment, like what, a controller, you can go in and play games off Luna with Amazon Prime. See, there's a backbone there. It's not just trying to hang by itself. And I think with that, like it has the ability to last longer. And when it comes to Luna, I believe they also have, their quote unquote first party studios developing games. They didn't close any of that down. That was the big red flag that, when it comes to Stadia, you're pretty much just counting the days after that. Because, I do realize the fact that when it comes to multi-plats third party, the GTAs, the NBA 2Ks, the Maddens, that's where you see those games on the high, people are playing list. But when it comes to exclusives, they give kind of like the personality of the platform.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And if you're dropping your first party, you're dropping your personality. Like that right there, in this industry, that just shows that you're not in it.
I like the way you put that, Xbot, to be honest with you, because if you look at every platform, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, when you don't have that first party, you do lose your personality. You lose who you are. Your identity is lost. And I feel like who wants to get behind something like that? And shout out to 9 Lives. I address this all the time. People don't realize we had fun. One podcast, it's the same thing that you're going to hear on podcasts for the next 2 weeks with Stadia is Dead, is when Stadia was coming up, and Jay Barry said it best. Anyone who tried Stadia versus xCloud, Stadia actually performed better. Now, does that mean that it did today? I haven't played either. When I got Stadia, I got it when it first came out. It came with 3 months with the controller. You got 3 months free, if you want to call it free. And then I stayed for about a month and a half, 2 months later. Shout out to the great Wilmy Hood. When me and Wilmy were talking to DM, he goes, Mooch, I'm canceling it. I said, me too. And that was it. So I only had it for 4 months after it launched, 4.5 months. So I agree with you. But when I did play both, I did feel that Stadia actually performed better. So shout out to C Mad and BRAP. I'm going to give you the mic after this. C Mad in the super chat. By the way, the super chat's working. It's a miracle. He says Google took down its tent because the investment in money and years to catch Microsoft, PlayStation, Nintendo wasn't worth the return. I like this last part. He says that's why it failed. Zero to do with the cloud. I do agree with C Mad on that point. So go. I don't know if Will was taking the mic away from BRAP. I know you were going to chime in as well.
No, I was going to say, the technology, the idea was ahead of its time. The issue that Stadia had was that who was the target audience? Like they had games that people already owned, like Red Dead Redemption, Assassin's Creed, Wolfenstein. I mean, and that was my issue with Stadia. Like, okay, why do I need this? I don't need this because I have these games already. I think if Stadia had presented itself in a subscription model where you can get a bunch of different games bundled in with the service, kind of like xCloud Game Pass, that would have been a stronger play. But they were trying to sell to people an audience that already had platforms or cell phones that could do these things already. So again, who was the target audience? It was a tough sell, and the fact that they didn't have first party either. I mean, I think they launched with like Guilt, which probably no one remembers that game.
No.
Some of the launch features that they talked about didn't happen.
They didn't happen at all.
Yeah, it didn't happen at all. Even there's even issues with the controllers where people had to connect via USB cable. They weren't connecting with quote unquote Stadia platforms. So there was a lot of issues. Now, the technology though, and I don't know who said this. Someone said this on the panel here, but the technology worked very well, and they're still like even though Stadia officially is dead, Google's still going to leverage the Stadia the technology in the gaming industry. They're going to provide it to developers who are interested in leveraging that for cloud streaming, and they're still going to focus on providing other tools and technology that are going to help developers in the gaming industry. So they're not completely out of the gaming industry,
right?
But they're out of being a platform holder, if you will. So it's one of those things. Again, it's ahead of its time. And to your question, Mooch, about cloud, I mean, cloud is going to be, I think, a very important part of gaming in the future. But it still has some ways, a bit of time to mature a little bit. So we're not quite just there yet. But this is, again, we'll look back at this stuff, and I think it also, I think the one thing with Stadia, it kind of, I think, potentially, I think maybe it pushed, like the Nvidias, the Xboxes, or the Microsofts of the world to kind of push their own cloud technologies a little bit further. We know Microsoft has made I think Microsoft at least has made tremendous strides in the cloud space with at least Game Pass and xCloud. So I think people look back at this and say, okay, this is an instance where a gaming company came in and tried to do cloud, and they were a little bit ahead of their time, much the same way people kind of look back at Sega and talk about online gameplay and things like that being kind of ahead of their time, for at least in the console space. And then
the difference,
saw what happened.
And BRAP, you make some really good points. That's why I want to take this to Red Hood. Red Hood, I'm going to ask you, because BRAP, great segue into these questions. And shout out to Domino Zero. He says the infrastructure is decades out. That's kind of what I was thinking. Even if you don't agree with decades, hear me out. A lot of the stuff that BRAP has brought up, not only this week, but BRAP's brought up on prior weeks, is that when you talk about the different things that Microsoft was trying to implement that they got made fun of earlier in the 360, right? Or even on the OG Xbox. The thing is that technology was out and about. Right now, this technology is still kind of being built from the ground up, which I like what BRAP said. Microsoft's made tremendous strides, but I think Google, maybe NVIDIA, others are now trying to catch up. But even trying to catch up to Microsoft is still way, way behind. Now, Xbot, I'll give you the mic in a second. Let me just get, I wanted to get Red Hood in here because I don't know how long I get Red Hood. Red, can I just ask you a question real quick? Red, where are you on not only with Stadia closing, but where are you on the cloud gaming situation and what BRAP was kind of alluding to?
Yeah, the infrastructure isn't there. Like, if we look at like internet, especially in America, it's not that great. Like, I hear it's better in Japan and like better. Like, I think in your latest, like a previous episode, Podorak was saying in like high-end hotels in different countries, it's better than there. But there is still latency issues, so that's another issue to look entirely. And I just see, for me, cloud infrastructure is, I don't really care for it. Input lag, all that. I will always stick with PC gaming when it comes to that. So if consoles somehow go to when consoles go to streaming somehow, I don't know when. That's a big guess. I just wouldn't go through. And like, you got to think about it too in terms of infrastructures where their servers, right, with like xCloud and PlayStation, they have their servers with like, the dedicated hardware hooked up to it.
Right.
But we don't know when the modifications for each new part comes into play, like a new CPU, a new GPU. And their monetizations also was an issue. Like Jay Barry was saying, like, it was weird seeing that their Pro model was like 4K 60 or 1440p 60, and you're not really owning the games. That's inherently another issue. But like, looking at their business aspect too of how they interact with their employees is mind-boggling, because you see like some tweets, I don't know if this was true, that there were emails to their employees saying, we got an announcement to make. Oh yeah, Stadia's gone. I was just like,
45 minutes before the announcement. Yeah,
and they did something very similar to when they cut their devs studios as well.
Yes,
when
that's right.
So to me, it's insane.
With today's PR out there, and the PR isn't exactly what it used to be. It's actually enhanced. And now you have the public. I mean, the public on social media is worse than any other PR nightmare that could have originated 10, 15 years ago. So Red Hood makes a great point. Pyle, just a quick question. Pyle, what do you think when you see this? This is the second time. Red Hood, great segue to that as well. Second time we're seeing Google not know how to break information to the public and not know how to break information to their own employees.
I think it's just one of those things where like they're so big, and like as long as the people there have a job, or like they know they can secure the people who have their job to something else, they'll be okay with that form. But I want to touch on something that when I think streaming is gonna be available more like worldwide. I think it's when 6G is out worldwide, and that is planned in the next 10 years. So I don't know how much you guys know about 6G, but it's like it is faster than 1,000 megabytes per second. Like it is stupidly fast. So as long as the major countries have that, where you don't need Wi-Fi, like hotel Wi-Fi and stuff, you can literally stream off that, and you have unlimited data. I think that is like when streaming is really gonna pop up. Because like imagine you're on vacation, right? And you bring your small controller on your phone, and you have 6G on your phone, and you can literally play in 4K in streaming with almost no lag. I think when it goes to that point, I think that is gonna be like a huge thing, especially like for Microsoft and Amazon.
Well, it's funny, Pyle, you say that. In the next spot, I want to give you the mic back. You had some thoughts on this, but we heard, and Pyle, don't get me wrong, I'm with you, but we heard 5G was going to be the say-all, end-all. Now we're moving it to 6G. I don't know if it's necessary.
Dude, there's never a say-all, end-all. There's always new technology.
Well, but it's funny, though. And no, Pyle, by the way, that's not a criticism because you're not wrong, okay? You're not wrong at all. But my point being here is that we just had Red Hood say it himself. He says, when it comes to me playing games, I want to play on my PC. It is always going to be a need for the foreseeable future for a dedicated piece of hardware. The PC gamers that used to never really kind of intertwine with the console gamers, and now we're all one big happy family, right? Right? We are. Whether we like it or not, we are. So the point of the matter is that whether it's Microsoft or Xbox or PlayStation fans or PC guys all kind of going at it, the one thing we all agree on is we all have a box that we plug into the wall. And I think when it comes down to it, when you think about Candy Crush or even games that are dedicated, like mobile games like Warzone Mobile, right? Or they have other games, PUBG Mobile. Those games are specifically designed for on-the-go gaming. But The Witcher 3, okay? Final Fantasy VII Remake, games that we're playing, we are not going to play those on our phones or tablets. Not as of today. People want dedicated service. And when you're playing a game like Warzone with your friends that you're doing on your PC, PlayStation 5, or Xbox Series X, you want that 1-to-1 hit ratio. You don't want that lag. So that's my biggest problem when we talk about cloud. That's why I think even if 6G is a solvent for some of it, Pyle, I'm wondering, does it solve all of our issues? That's why I think Xbot was right when he says we really have a never say all end all.
Not with multiplayer. Not with multiplayer. No.
Right, multiplayer, right.
Yeah, it's going to come down to different addressable markets, Mooch. You're going to have people that want different things, different experiences, and this is in addition to what we already have.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, and so it's like I was a not only was I an Xbox Live beta tester, but I was actually an xCloud beta tester as well. Forgot to mention that. And I can tell you that I definitely have seen improvements going from 4G to 5G, like drastic improvements, where xCloud actually works much better, like to the point where I actually did play Fortnite on xCloud.
Yeah.
I mean, now, was it as good as playing on my...
Here comes the pause.
Well, I mean, look, Mooch, let's just face it. I mean, like PC.
BRAP, you're not alone. Everybody says it.
Everybody, I mean...
Everyone's like, I was playing the other day, I was playing a little Destiny on xCloud. Yeah, I mean, it didn't really work all the time, but,
I'll say this. It actually worked well for cloud. Okay. I mean, it did. Like, all things considering, I was, but again, for me, it wasn't the latency as much as it was, I don't want to play for FOV reasons. I don't want to play Fortnite on a tiny screen or on a tablet device. It's just not how I want to experience that game. That may be maybe for some people, that might be a thing, but but that's not how I want to experience that game. But again, I thought it worked pretty well, and there's definitely been improvements for my times playing games on xCloud compared to on 4G compared to how it runs on 5G now.
I gotta say, first off, Google with Stadia, they hung everything on cloud gaming. And me, I play on Xbox, and one of the things that I've noticed when it comes to Xbox is like they're nurturing and kind of like growing that audience, even down to little features within xCloud. Like I have Game Pass, right? So I go into Game Pass, I go and I look at the games. I'm like, all right, I want to download that one. But they have the option to just play it through the cloud to see if you really want to like download it and play it natively. And that right there increases their numbers of people using the cloud. Mm-hmm. And over time, they're also getting used to the cloud as well. So like even with Xbox, and people are like, oh, they're going to drop the hardware and all that good stuff. Like I don't see it that way, because they are slowly developing that cloud gaming Xbox community there.
Yeah.
You know, they do realize like that it's not there yet.
I like your point. I like your point where they're kind of utilizing this as a test asset as well when people download and use it. Absolutely, Xbox.
It's a little feature, but it means so much. It gets people used to, okay, I can use that there. I can try this out. And then it gets them, you know, kind of like subconsciously in their mind, like, oh yeah, I can always just, you know, check it out through the cloud. I can play this through the cloud. Like it becomes a part of their mindset over time. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Let me welcome the great Porter Rock 77. P Rock was just in my the DMs. He's like, Mooch, can I get on here? I said,
man,
absolutely.
Is he here for the flowers again?
Well, I don't know if you've delivered the flowers or not.
Listen. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like every time you bring up a topic, like the next day is doomsday. I'm like, hey, Porter Rock, they're not going to take away Call of Duty, I promise you. I'm like, all right, fine, Brad. Next day, Tony only gets 3 years. I'm like, okay. And then, like, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? Porter Rock is the future's the internet. Next day, Stadia crashes. I'm like, what the? Yeah, listen, Brad, you will not say Yankees guaranteed to win the World Series. You will not say that. Don't even bring it up. Don't say it. In fact, I want you to say they will lose. I need you to say that.
You want the opposite.
Yankees has no chance of winning the World Series. I need that from you right now.
I
really need that energy from you right now. I need you to mean it.
Oh, the Yankees are going to win it.
Oh, God, that's it. Wrap it up. It's done.
That's it.
All right.
Do I gotta send flowers if they don't win?
Oh, man, this is it. It's doomed.
Hey, do I gotta send flowers if they don't win?
What? If they don't win, I'm coming after you, Brap. I'm gonna find you. And like Jay Barry says, I'm gonna hit your shins.
Oh man!
I'm gonna kick you in your shins, like Jay Barry says. But hey, I just wanted to hop on a question because
sure.
This is the thing. I think too many people are in the wonderment of the technology, right? I mean, the idea of that you could play a AAA game just on a TV that you normally own with nothing else but a Bluetooth controller, and you know, people are just like, "Oh my God, this is amazing technology." But the reality is this: what gamer right now has any issues with native hardware? Like, no one's really like the cloud gaming in itself is not really bringing anything new other than, hey, we can bring more games to more devices, right? But the thing is this: that's not a problem in gaming, because gamers have no issue going to a device and getting the games that they want. Think of it this way.
That's a really good point.
Gaming as a business is bigger, now get this, than movies, music, and American sports combined.
Yes.
And now here's the thing. Movies, music, and sports, they're everywhere. There's no place. You can watch a football game on a Samsung fridge with LCD. All these media have that already. Yet gaming is still bigger. Gamers do not have a problem at this point. No one wakes up like, man, I'm really tired of looking at that box. In fact, that's one of the best feelings you get in gaming. I mean, hell, you guys bragged about a package. Oh my God, look at this Xbox package, how amazing it is. Gamers love that. That no one has it. That's the thing I'm thinking. So who
I got a counter for you, but go ahead.
I'm just saying, who implanted this idea in his head? Somebody did Inception on us, where they implanted, hey, you don't like hardware. You want this. And you're like, who? No one done that. You know what I'm saying? To me, in order for cloud to really take off, you got to be better than what I want. Like if you told me, hey, with cloud, you can have high-end $3,000 gaming performance, something your console will never do, then I'm gonna be like, okay, well, now we're having a different conversation now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you say? Like, but if you are doing what I'm already doing, and on average worse, because the network's not there, the back-end server's not there, the ISPs, you think they give a shit about giving you the best gaming experience? They don't. They're not building up their networks to make sure you have the bet.
I love
they don't care about that.
No, they don't. I really love what Porter Rock just said. No gamer really has a hard time accessing or getting to the box. And we did. What did we do? We literally took countless pictures
Mooch,
of our boxes and the packaging. Go ahead, Brap.
If anything, I would say gamers want hardware now more than ever. We're 2 years into the gen, and we still trying to find consoles.
And people keep saying, I don't want a Pro Edition, and they're going to buy it the minute it comes out. But go ahead, Brap.
Yeah.
I get we right now everyone's buying hardware. People should be buying PCs, by the way, and not consoles.
Opinion.
But no, it's not an opinion. It's a fact. Just like Ruth Chris is better than McDonald's. But look, at the end of the day,
I don't eat McDonald's, bro.
This isn't about today or what people want today as much as about building for tomorrow. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously these technologies aren't perfect today. The infrastructure isn't there, like we talked about. So, and also this isn't about an addressable market outside of the U.S. too. I mean, I think a lot of us tend to focus on the North American market. We're not the only market in the world. Gaming is a global phenomenon now. It's huge. I mean, it is. I mean, you look at mobile gaming in Japan. It's taken over consoles now. If you would have said that to me 20 years ago, I would have laughed at you. But like, there's no way that's going to happen. But it's happened. Same thing in other parts of Asia and other markets that aren't as mature as the North American market. And so some of this is a play to expand, to grow the base of the industry, much the way television movies try to do, outside of just buying a DVD player and streaming devices. I mean, remember when at least I remember when Netflix came out. It was you order the disc, you got it in the mail, and then it became a streaming service, and even that wasn't perfect at the time. But people transitioned, people adopted, people will go to convenience. There's an addressable market for people who want convenience, who don't want to spend money, who just want ease of access, who just want to be able to, pick up the controller, turn up the TV, fire up, and play a game. And that is the value proposition of cloud gaming. Now, again, it's not going to be for everyone. It's not going to be for me. I can tell you that. It's more supplemental for me because I still want a game on the PC. I want my native hardware. I want that experience, unless magically somehow maybe NVIDIA or someone else develops some kind of cloud streaming service where, and actually NVIDIA does have this. You can actually, they have tiers where you can actually get 3080 level experiences streaming. And I've never tried NVIDIA's cloud service, so I can't say if that's accurate or if that works. But they are actually, that's actually a tier that they promote. But I think, there's a market out there that may want this, and this could be an opportunity to further, grow the pool of people that are buying video games. Like, Bari, by the way, big shout out to you and Persona for having Sean Layden on again.
Yes.
But Sean Layden talked about this the first time you guys had him on, Bari, when he said, the industry really hasn't grown that much per se, as much as it's figured out how to sell more things to the people that are already, in the market. And he's like, the challenge is figuring out how to grow outside and get people who don't play video games to get into the video, to get into the industry. And I thought that was very, I was like, wait, I was like, actually, that's it. I actually never thought of that before. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And the push to cloud could do that. So again, it's not going to be for everyone. What I find value in, what Mooch find value in, or could be different. And people need to remember that. Like what you may think cloud is shit. That means it's probably not for you. But someone else, like maybe Porter Rock, he may change his mind. He may be streaming.
Well, don't forget though, Brap. And we've been saying been saying that.
Let me use your Netflix. Let me use your Netflix example, and this is what I'm talking about. So, Netflix started out as a DVD service, where you just, you pick your movies online, you pick like 50 of them, and whatever. Let's say you get 2 at a time, you just keep funneling them in through the mail, and they coming in, right? And people saw that better than the old school method of you walking to the store and picking up. So people saw the value in that. When Netflix transitioned into streaming, people saw the value compared to what they're doing now, because now they don't have to wait for a disc in the movie. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need. You can't just simply tell me, "Oh, play a game this way." Like that. I'm already playing a game. Like, why do I need to play Madden on Stadia when I could play Madden on what I own and I like? Give me that. Oh, so instead of me waiting 2-3 days for this to come in, I can watch this movie right now. Oh, and once I'm done, I could watch this movie right now, and then this movie. people understood that. People saw this is better than that because I don't have to wait for my disc to come in, or I don't have to get a 5 disc, 10 disc plan. I could just watch movie at binge. I could binge watch movies all day, all night. That's the hook.
Yes.
And Cloud needs that hook.
There's no hook.
There's no
Cloud.
hook.
Not for me, anyways.
And I'm gonna tell you,
listen,
and I'm gonna tell you, your thing about casuals. Well, Cloud could get people who don't know about. Everybody knows about gaming. You think people don't know about Halo? They see it. They know. They have friends. They have families with kids. They know Mario. Everybody knows that. They just don't care.
But what's the
they just
barrier
don't care.
for some people though?
What happened?
What's the barrier for some people though?
They don't care.
No,
they don't care.
That's okay.
They don't care.
That may be
it
one
isn't
thing. They don't care.
that they can't buy it. They don't care. What I'm saying is, most people don't play games. They have friends that play games. They have nephews. I know people who buy consoles not for them, but for their nephew, and they know about gaming. They just don't care about it.
I don't disagree. There's people that don't care and they haven't bought, but there's also people who potentially may want to game but don't want to because they don't want to spend $500 on a console. They may not want to spend.
I think cloud streaming is more like a supplement to gaming. It's not like where it's going to turn somebody into a gamer. You know what I mean? It's a convenience. It's an add-on. It's something that.
But that's
a good point.
And to me, what Xbox did, he perfectly explained it. It's not going to grow the market. It's just going to make gaming better for the people that's already in there, like Xbox. Okay, he's already part of the Microsoft ecosystem, but he's using cloud. I could test out games. I could leave my house. I don't see it as. I don't see it growing to where.
What's the largest generator of revenue in gaming right now? What platform?
MTX.
No, not MTX. I'm saying platform.
What are you talking? The largest revenue of mobile.
Why is that?
What? Because
everybody's got a phone.
Everybody's got a phone.
And so, what does cloud tie into?
Cloud tied. What I mean, like ties into what?
Well, it's tied into the phone, but they're not the same games, BRAP. They're not the same games. It's not the same.
Yeah, I was going to say mobile gaming is very different, though.
Listen, all right, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Wait. Let me finish my point. Existing devices. My point is this.
No. Let me stop you right there.
Let me finish.
No, I'm gonna stop you right there.
No, let me finish. The point is, at some point, we may get to a point where having those devices, having that TV, that LG TV, that OLED, you don't have to buy a console, maybe appealing for some people, maybe enough to get people into play games and maybe play the kind of games, assuming the technology. And I got to say, Stadia actually was pretty good at
the technology front.
Playing games that were demanding. That's what impressed me about. And again, I haven't used NVIDIA's GeForce Now, or I think it's GeForce Now. But I've heard some similar feedback on that even with demanding games that you would say are demanding on hardware works pretty well for cloud. So, and that's my point. Like it's opening it up, the proposition, to people who already have devices. So now you're saying, hey, you know what? You don't have to spend any other additional money other than what you spend on your TV. It's the same reason mobile gaming. The premise is the same. Obviously, the games are different. But the value proposition is the same. It's like, you know what? You have this device, and now you can play video games.
So let me help you out with that one. This is why I'm going to call bullshit on that. Because my life I'm living isn't like that. For example, I bought the Switch because my wife wanted it. Listen.
That's you.
But listen, let me give, because you want to generalize, I'm going to give you a real example. Right? My wife, I've been gaming. My wife normally gaming all the time. She had access to every single gaming device in front of her. Every single day. She could just walk up to it, pick it up, and play whatever game she wanted. Yeah. She didn't care. She literally asked for the Switch. The only reason why I got a Switch was because of her. She doesn't play it, but she's on her phone all the time. You want to know why? Because this is the problem people forget. This is the golden rule of gamers. If there's a game gamers want to play, they will get the device to play it. That is, I believe, 100% hardcore in that rule.
I believe
if
that
there's
more,
a game
I believe
and you want to play,
every day.
you're gonna go play it.
You can't.
If you don't want, if you don't want the game, it doesn't matter. I could sit you down and waterboard you. You're not gonna want to play it.
Wait. No one is arguing that point. But you can't. Your wife is an example of one person in a larger market. You can't use her as example.
Yes, I can, because what you're saying is,
let me finish.
What you're saying is a lot of these mobile games, listen, how many parents are mobile gamers with kids that have consoles and they don't play their consoles?
No,
because they don't care.
What I'm saying is that you can't extrapolate your wife to the rest of the market and say, okay, because my wife didn't like, mobile gaming, therefore no one else is. Like that's
the majority. Listen, but what you're saying is
you can't.
Yes, I can.
What I'm saying. Hold on. What I'm saying is this.
What I'm saying is this. If you want to play a game, chances are that person will get the platform to play a game. It isn't a lack.
Well, let me get your point in, and I want to get Red Hood in here.
My point is that the mobile space didn't grow because people were already on consoles. I mean, some are, right? But it grew because there was a market out there that latched to the idea of the ease of access without having to go out and buy things they weren't interested in. That entertainment was already there. They didn't have to do anything else, and that's why it grew so much.
No, it grew because it catered to an audience that have games that people didn't want to play on consoles. If you look at the games that mobile,
you just agreed with me, by the way.
I did not. No, my point is the games, BRAP. At the end of the day, it's the games. Let me put it this way: if the mobile market did not have any of those games, and all of them was Halos and the God of War, these people will not be playing them. Nobody wants to play a 10-hour God of War type.
So wait, let me
finish. Nobody wants to play what?
No, what I'm saying is, if the games that made mobile popular did not exist, and they were the same AAA games we're playing, it would not be this popular. Because they already seen the game, In fact, that was one of the issues of PSP, if you remember. What was the number one issue people had PSP?
No, but that's what I'm saying is that it's opening the market to grow it, meaning that there's people out there that aren't engaged in gaming.
Like Stadia?
That's my point. Like it's not about people who are already engaged in the market or playing AAA games. It's about opening the market to other people beyond mobile, people that have TVs, and now you throw an application on that TV, and they have access to gaming now.
You got people. So wait, Luna's there already, and people ain't really using it for Luna.
See,
what I'm trying to say.
Hold on, let me get.
BRAP is predicated on
that. This is also the argument. You've been gaming a long time. This is actually the argument that I heard 40 years ago when the Atari 2600 was out, or when Nintendo came out. The console space was dead. Who games? Only the nerds game, right? And what's happened since then? It grew.
No, that's not the same. That's not the same. No, that's not the same.
The thing is, that approach on TV is nothing new. That approach has been going on for almost 10 years now, where you can stream games on TVs. It hasn't grown. Most streaming services has gone to the wayside rather than it's going up. To be honest with you,
that's the thing. I got
something to say. At the end of the day, you need two things. Number one is games. I don't know why that's a new foreign concept. It's the games that's going to attract people to the platform, but in particular to cloud, you gotta have something that makes people be like, "Holy shit, this is it!" Like, "Holy cow!" Kind of like Netflix. The transition from streaming is like,
you're also discounting that may never happen. And who's to say that won't happen?
So, but that's what I'm saying. We have to figure what that thing is. To me, if they can advertise, streaming is actually superior to consoles in performance, graphics, and capabilities.
But that's speaking to the console market. Again, different addressable markets.
Now, hold on. Let me get some guys in here. Guys, I'm glad you guys made your Reddit. Get your 2 cents in.
Yeah,
super chats.
I wanted to say, I want to say, the whole Sean Layden thing breaking out into, different audiences, I don't think he was specifically talking about streaming. I think he was specifically talking about, even what Bungie's doing and what you see, which one of the topics is going to be is cyberpunk, with these types of animes and types of shows, which you're going to see for HBO, going for those audiences that don't normally play video games will get people interested. And I wanted to bring a point for mobile gaming markets, very different than the streaming market, as well as playing games on PC and console. Diablo Immortal, for instance.
Well, my point was that because I want to clarify. My point on the mobile space was that a lot of those people weren't people that never gained. That's my point.
Yes.
And mobile offered that opportunity.
Yeah, but
That's not true.
streaming
'Cause in my
will be
opinion,
very different. Streaming will be very different for those audiences because they're not going to really target them because these games are made in a specific formula. Like Diablo Immortal, that's on PC, also mobile. And a lot of PC gamers hate Diablo Immortal, but guess what? That game literally has a bunch of customers that are whales that are pouring thousands and thousands of dollars into those games that you're not going to see PC players really doing. And that is why it's such a big market for people, and like Candy Crush and all these mobile games, that you have to pay these tokens or anything like that in order to get like these free to play like aspects of winning the game, which is very different. So it's like,
Well,
I definitely think that
look, I
avenue
understand the
the
differences.
TV
My
and movie
point
market.
was that the mobile market opened up the an avenue for more people to engage in gaming that never did.
Well, let me
actually, hold on. To me, the mobile market, you know who those gamers are? They're the ones that were playing Minesweeper at work in poker.
Yeah.
That's to me, all those people, all they did was transition from PC, and now they're like, oh shit, I could play Minesweeper on my phone and all these other bullshit. I don't see these guys as, oh man, you put Gears of War on my phone? Hell yeah. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's a completely different market. It's a completely different market.
Different consumer.
It is.
Different,
it really
different
is.
type of consumer.
So let me just, Brap, Puerto Rock, you guys, outstanding, by the way. Listen, by the way, Pyle, this is why it's CrossFire, okay? It's not called Kumbaya, but I love it. I love the back and forth. I got some super chats here that I've completely passed on. I want to get to, and then I want to get to Great Warrior Gaming, who's here, and Jez just popped in. What a great show this has turned out to be. It's great to have you here. The great Sir X-Man, he says, Stadia is the generation's Dreamcast. Sorry, Mooch. Great to have Sir X-Man here. Before Coulter's here, guys, the show has begun. He says, until they solve latency, distance is an issue. Shout out to Babor. C-Mad is back. He says, cloud isn't geared towards the hardcore gamer, except for accessibility on the fly. It's for the billions of average consumers. Samsung's TVs as an example. I think that's exactly what we were just kind of alluding to, C-Man. Shout out to the great Hustle and Motivate. He says, this is fire. Thank you, Hustle. The great J-Dub stopped by. Jay, hoping everything's great, man. Great to have you here in the chat. Jay says, hello, everyone. I miss you all. I'm just here to say that Xbox 448 is all cap. Xbox's dog poop, he says, and has yet to release a first-party IP in all 2022. Why are Bots so happy?
Jail.
He had to.
And the first person to talk about
right
is, I gotta say, yo, bro, I miss our quote-unquote discussions on Twitter. Man.
I miss that too.
Made my day go by at work.
You guys are great. You guys are absolutely great. Shout out to Sean T for subscribing. I appreciate it. DC Gaming's here. He said if people really cared about gaming like that, they would already be on the platform. Casual gamers are not as smart as people like to make them seem respectfully. Well, DC, it's not that. It's just I think what we said.
Bro.
Yeah, I don't know about that, DC. I don't agree with that. I think casual gamer is what Porter Rock was saying. They went from the Minesweeper to the Candy Crush, right? For them, that was an upgrade. That's what they did.
Exactly.
They moved from one to the other, but in the same genre, if you will, almost. Sir X-Man says, the hook for cloud gaming, not waiting for download. Sir X-Man, nowadays, that's a tougher pill to swallow because everybody says, I mean, you're not waiting long for a game to download like we were in the Xbox One and PS4 era. The great Crap Gamer's here. Crap, glad to hear that the hurricane didn't hurt you guys or didn't affect you as nearly as bad as the last hurricane that went through Florida. He says, Mooch and Crap, the morning show. I love that show. I'm a big fan. Crap, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Worry, let me get Worry in here. Worry, I know that you were working. You're probably on the way home from work. Worry, when it comes to the cloud, I know how you feel about cloud, and I think anyone that knows you knows. Yeah, he's a big fan. But I mean, when it comes to there's sarcasm in that, by the way, folks. But Worry, when you heard the back and forth, where are you on this stance?
It's kind of like, can you hear me? By the way, I don't know.
Yeah, you're crystal clear.
I hear you.
All right. Whenever anybody asks me about technology that's 25 years away, I always ask myself, why are you worried about this now? It's like going back to the 1800s and telling everybody to get rid of their horse because 150 years from now there'll be a car. It makes no sense. People are going out and buying televisions that do 8K, 120 frames per second, HDR10, and then they're streaming through an app video games that can't take advantage of the technology in the TV that they just purchased. Why? It makes absolutely no sense. It's not a primary motivator for anybody to get into gaming. It's a primary motivator for people to get into certain types of games. I'm sitting at home playing Horizon Forbidden West. I'm not paying somebody to let me play that game through the air that doesn't exist. If I have to go out and buy technology like a television, and I want to spend $2,000 on a great TV, then I want something that could at least match the technology that I just purchased. I don't want to stream anything. And by the time the technology catches up, I hate to break it to everybody on the fucking panel, but most of us will be dead. So who cares?
Put "I told you so" on the gravestone.
Actually, you know what I thought he was going to say? By the time the technology catches up to where cloud is great, imagine how great the dedicated consoles or the dedicated hardware that may be so great, like PC or whatever.
By the
I
time
think
it
Halo Infinite
catches
will be
up,
complete
I'll
by
be
then.
trying to get the nurse in the nursing home to give me a hand job with the sponge bag.
We'll probably all have Alzheimer's and dementia by
Halo
then.
full complete.
They're still thinking that we're playing on the PlayStation 5 and Series X 80 years later.
Right.
They're like, okay, Grandpa.
Yo, this is
just roll over there.
So, Jez, what do you think when you hear all this? And then I want to go full circle to Pio on a different topic.
The thing, there's a couple of things with the cloud stuff, and one of the things is that this whole barrier to entry. I find that first off, it's on the brand new Samsung TV, so it's like $2,000, like Worrywart says, like the new TV's coming out, and then you got to go buy a controller, and then you got to go subscribe $15 a month. Those sound like just as much barriers as to anything. Of just like the game just doesn't come to you. The idea of the cloud is that it's there, but there's still a barrier to entry. And this whole that you're gonna convert mobile gamers to, I guess, cloud gamers or whatever like that.
That's actually not what I said.
Well, this is what
I was talking about.
potential.
I was talking about the impact that mobile had to bring new people into a hobby or to
but mobile
a market
gaming
that
is
weren't
not
there.
console gaming. It's not the same thing. There are
No one said
different
that.
expectations, but you're talking about if you're bringing people in.
I'm not talking about an addressable market that wants console-like experiences. They're going to go get console-like experiences.
Yeah,
I'm talking about people that, as in mobile. I'm talking about people in mobile, like the people that went to mobile are people that didn't want console-like experiences. That's my point. That it could bring more people into the
market
fold.
that you're reaching. But now, what market are you reaching? If they don't care about console-like experiences, why do they want to play them on a 5-inch phone streamed over the internet, requiring an adapter?
Because they're not the addressable market for consoles. They're not in that market.
But you're bringing them console games that require console accessories. What are you converting? If they're not interested to begin with, that's exactly what Porter Rock was saying. If people don't care about Gears 5 at all, they're not going to care about Gears 5 showing up on their phone.
But it's not just Gears 5.
So it doesn't matter. No, I'm talking about all console gaming. If they don't care about Horizon, it doesn't matter if it's on a phone.
You guys are fixating on like big AAA games, and some people may.
So what game are you talking about? Indie games that you could download natively on a phone? These phones are more powerful than a 360.
Yeah, if you're gonna go the indie route, that's an L because you don't know.
And I'm going to tell you another thing too.
That's also
when you
via done
make a game
cloud.
for a phone. When you make a game for a phone,
that's also via done cloud though.
The phone has the inputs for touching, the hitboxes, the menu screens, all is adapted for that input device. When you're taking a streaming game that's made for a controller that has analog sticks, 8 face buttons, double like analog control, that game is not designed for the hitboxes and the things that you're going to do on a cell phone.
Well, Xbox
again, I'm not saying that
touchscreen controls on games.
No, that's not the same thing. You could slap on touchscreen controls on a thing, but that game is designed for a controller in mind.
Right.
It's not made for a screen. So the game is developed.
So are you saying that are you saying that in the future that there will be tools, development capabilities to allow developers to utilize or take advantage of or develop games that don't use controllers?
Those games are not developed for the games are not developed for the screens. They're not developed for a phone. They're developed for a console or for a PC, and they're being streamed.
But they are games that develop for mobile though.
Yes, and those people will play on those. They're not going to need streaming to satisfy that.
A different addressable market.
That's why
Again,
I don't understand it.
the people that want the console-like experiences, they want to hold a control. They're going to go that route. That's my point.
But the point, but you're saying that there's a market, a potential market out there that this streaming is going to reach. But if you're telling me that
just
they
like
don't care-
mobile,
They're building,
just like mobile. Just because you don't care about it doesn't mean that there isn't a market out there.
It's not that I don't care about it. Google Stadia shutting down shows that nobody cares.
Well, that's the thing, BRAP.
I'm going to tell you right now, VR had longer legs than streaming right now.
Hey, Jez, that's a very simplistic way to look at it. That's not why. That's not why Google Stadia failed.
Why
again?
Google Stadia failed. If streaming was going to work, other partners would jump onto streaming, just like with VR. You saw how many people jump on. They jump on the bandwagon.
Let me ask one question,
dude.
I'm asking how that works. Let's do a test. Let's do an experiment.
Let me ask you a question. How many developers? When Dreamcast came out with online play, right? Online. How many developers were on board with online multiplayer?
I don't know. Were there a lot?
Not a lot.
Because
wait, say that again. Say that again.
You're saying how many people? How many developers adopted the online play when Dreamcast had first revealed?
It was growing.
But that's
PlayStation jumped on online play.
Wait, let me put it this way: when Dreamcast came out and people were talking about online, that shit was huge. The only question was,
huge. It was a very small market.
Listen. Everybody wanted it. There was only one problem. One, a lot of people didn't have 50K dial-up. A lot of people didn't have the internet. That's just the reality, okay? But when people were hearing,
how many developers were on board?
When you talk to people and be like, "Yo, you can play somebody," and I remember the first NBA 2K game I played was on Dreamcast, and it was a pain in the ass with the triggers. But anyway, different story.
People were like,
"Whoa!"
The thing is that
because listen, this is what, and this hold up, this is what I'm talking about. I'm telling Brad. When I told
on
people,
PC, dude, online was already established on PC.
Yeah, it was already established on PC.
So it worked.
But listen, hold up. When it transitioned to console,
I'm talking about the console space, though.
No, but
no, you're not. No, you're not. You're using Dreamcast as a way of saying that.
No, I'll use
Dreamcast as a console. It's not a PC.
I will use the console. I will use the Dreamcast. I'm going to go with what BRAP is going with. I'm going to
let Porter Rock finish.
I'm going to go with what BRAP is going to. When I told people, yo, you can play somebody in basketball over the internet, dudes was like, holy shit, it was amazing. Even though they couldn't do it because they didn't have internet. I have 56K. They didn't even know what the fuck the internet was. But when I explained it to them, again, the hook. That's what I'm talking about. People were like, yo, I could beat someone's ass. I'd be like, not only that, you can talk trash to them. Any motherfucker. And they were like, yo, I gotta get me that. I gotta get me that.
Okay. Well,
that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, that's not what I said though. I wasn't asking about people's responses to Dreamcast by the Dreamcast Online. My point was how many developers were actually investing in that new technology. Not many.
Well,
same thing with Xbox Live.
What about Everwild? What about
Xbox Live? Let me finish. When Xbox Live came out 20 years ago, people put Microsoft through the ringer. Oh my God, I can't believe they're including an Ethernet port in the back of a console. That's a death blow. Nobody has Ethernet. Yeah, a lot of people said that. When the original Xbox came out.
But the thing is, dude, is
what I remember was
online gaming was already established in the PC world, and it was coming to console.
I think BRAP is
cloud gaming
making shit up.
No. Actually,
Let me I had the OG Xbox. No, the thing with the OG Xbox wasn't the inclusion of broadband. It was not including at the time 56K. That was the blowback because the majority of the people at that time.
That's my point. That's my point because people didn't have
it wasn't
internet.
No. So no.
You hyped
the
up
reason
5G
why
and now
the reason people weren't bashing, including broadband, because
yet.
on PlayStation the adapter had both. People were saying, "Listen, no, that's not your point." The point is the reason why Xbox got bashed because it excluded a huge market. Like, why would you cut out a market?
That is my point.
How is that your point?
Because that's why my point is this. All right, they bashed the OG Xbox because it had forward-thinking technology, right? Because it didn't address it didn't have.
See, you're reinventing stuff. You're making
stuff. No, I'm not.
The PlayStation 2 had both broadband adapter and dial-up.
Let me finish.
But don't make stuff up, Brad.
I'm not making stuff up. The fact
you can't say Xbox had forward-thinking technology when PlayStation was doing it too. The difference is it catered to both markets. You had dial-up and broadband. Xbox got bashed because it only did broadband.
No,
people
again,
wanted both.
PlayStation had an ad hoc device, right, that you plugged to the back of the PlayStation.
Been a GameCube.
My point is this: is that when Microsoft released the console, right? Microsoft released the console. It had an Ethernet port, which people panned. They're like, why is Microsoft putting an Ethernet port? The majority of households don't have Ethernet, have 56K. And Microsoft said, we're building this online infrastructure.
Hey, yo, hold up.
No,
I gotta
see,
wait,
man, that's not what happened.
All right, so listen, guys, listen. We got
He made it up.
Guys,
He's
we
changing
got
the whole history.
Hold on. We got a lot of people on the panel
That was
here.
exactly the feedback.
I
No,
told
went on
hold on,
Microsoft
P-Rock.
saying, hey, on
P-Rock.
PlayStation, you got both. How come you don't have both?
I'm not talking about getting both. I'm talking about the feedback.
No, go.
I'm saying
Let
one
Persona get his
thing, and I'm
words
getting up out of here.
in. I'm running out of even icon
just
space
saying
on the
one
side.
thing.
Yes.
I'm just saying one thing, and I'm leaving because I'm playing the game. I'm chilling, listening to this. Not Bruce. BRAP, cut the fuck cap, brother.
Cut
I need you to
cap.
stop.
No, it's not. It's not cap.
No.
It's
It is
not
cap
cap.
because
No,
it
it's
is
not.
cap because there was
It's not cap.
Ethernet ports on the back of PlayStation 2s. What are you
No,
talking
again,
about?
no,
brother?
that's not. No,
Fantasy.
again,
back during the
it wasn't
PS2
native to
during the
PlayStation 2.
yes, it-
First of all, number
yes,
one, it
it
wasn't
was.
native
Yes,
to
it
PlayStation 2.
was. Yes,
No,
it
it
was,
wasn't.
because
It was
No,
you
not
had
the
to
first
buy.
PlayStation
You had to
2
buy an attachment.
Yeah.
It
One,
came
you
with
gotta
an
buy the
attachment.
attachment, but that's
During the
irrelevant.
Hold on.
PlayStation
I'm not.
generation.
Again, I'm not disputing whether PlayStation 2 had or not. What
Right.
I'm disputing is
What
when
you're
the
talking
Xbox
about
came
with
out.
Ethernet ports and all
When
this
the
other stuff
Xbox came out,
is bullshit.
people panned Microsoft for including
Brother,
an
let
Ethernet
me-
port.
All right, listen. No, BRAP, you got your Persona. Say what you want to say, and then BRAP, you could definitely answer. Go ahead,
This whole
Persona.
Ethernet port thing, that is all bullshit. Because back in the day, we had the computers and there was the online infrastructure with consoles was just ramping up.
Yeah.
Because I was
We
playing
were on
online.
56K.
I was
didn't matter.
online
was
playing
established
games
already.
in the PS2
That's
era.
not what I'm
with
talking about. I'm talking
SOCOM
about Ethernet
and
versus 56K.
NFL
There's a difference.
all
This
those
still has
games
nothing to
does
do with
not
cloud
matter.
gaming requiring strap-ons for phones.
Again, I'm trying to
This has
draw
nothing
a
to do with
parallel
cloud
here.
gaming. No,
Yeah,
there's
but
no
you're making up a
parallel.
here
No,
between
there's
new
not.
technologies.
No, it's
You're
not.
making up a
No,
whole
because this
different history.
So there's no
technology is
okay.
failing
So
right now, dude.
okay. So you're saying that when Xbox Live came out, Jez, right?
Mhm.
That it's where it is today.
But
in terms of
dude,
developer
online
support and
gaming
developer users.
existed prior to Xbox
That's
Live.
not what I'm talking about. I'm
So
talking about
tell me
support.
what existed prior to Stadia to show that streaming is the future.
On
Again,
live. Oh,
you're
wait,
not. You're
that's L2.
comparing
There was-
two
there
different
was- look,
things. It doesn't
Again,
make
there
sense.
was Gaikai
Two
and
different
online.
things.
There was.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
my
and
point
they
is
all
this.
failed,
flop.
dude.
My-
So
but-
they're
but
not
my
a good point. Not a good point.
My point is this: is that
It all
again
failed.
these things take time to mature.
Okay, on
And I'm-
live failed. Gaikai purchased. Play Us Now failed.
Okay, but
Streaming
but
is
again,
not now,
it-
dude.
but-
They don't want it. People
no
don't
one's
want
no
it.
one's
No,
making
here's
the,
another
okay,
thing.
wait. No one's making the claim that it's now. What I'm saying is that it's early in.
You told me
in
4
its
years
impl-
ago it was
You
ready
can't
for
really
4
say
years.
nobody wants it. You can't
Now,
really.
here's
say
another
nobody
thing.
wants it.
In good
All
faith,
right, well
grab
then tell me when
example-
xCloud
because-
goes on its
I mean,
own
my
and not
point
packaged.
was
What Jazz is trying to say, though, is
my point was this. Jazz,
online
point
gaming
this.
was
Hold on, let me finish.
already growing.
No one.
So-
No one's.
It-
Okay,
it
first
was
of all,
just
no
being-
one. No.
It
no
was
one
just
said-
being-
guys,
listen,
My
Let's
point
get
is,
into
no
what
one
about
said.
technology,
being
hype up
adopted.
VR,
No one,
baby,
no
because
one
that has
said.
longer
No
legs.
one
I'm
said
ready for
online-
it,
online.
baby.
No one said online wasn't a thing, but online wasn't where it is now. Online is huge. It's larger now than it was when it was on PC.
Brap,
It's
why
larger
do
now when
people wanna
Xbox
stream
Live
games?
first came out.
Why do
That's
people want to
because
stream
that's
games to a
because
phone when they
hey,
can
listen.
play
That's
games
because they
natively?
expanded something that was working on PC.
I don't get the
Because publishers
And
and
it went
developers
beyond.
are supporting it more.
But do you think? Okay, I'm gonna
You
tell
know
you
they
this. Do you
didn't.
think-
I mean, look,
do you
Portlock,
think
I was
Stadia
Portlock, I was
going
there
out
at the
and
beginning
doing
during.
this.
Listen,
I don't care who's
so,
there. At the beginning.
Brap, so was I.
Stadia
I was
going
there
out
at
of
the beginning
business is
too.
not good
In fact,
for
I
publishers.
had SegaNet, so I was there with the Dreamcast.
But stop with the
You
online
understand?
stuff.
Listen,
Talk
man,
about
the crazy
cloud.
part is I didn't
Yo,
learn
we
about
need
the
we need Hoarder in the court.
already.
Hoarder in the court. We need Hoarder in the
We
court,
do
guys.
need order in the court. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was just going to
And
say. I was trying.
this thing's become
Let's
like-
I
this
want to
thing's
get a
become-
couple. Listen, I want to get a
This
couple.
panel's become like a bukkake right now. There's so many people here.
Hey, Mooch, I got you, man. I got you.
Yo, thank you, Jay Murray.
I am buying and
I-
sending you a gavel.
I am renaming. I'm renaming this podcast "Gaming in New York." That's just what we're gonna call it because
Hey, yo,
what you don't realize, and shout out to Pio. Pio's probably sitting there being like, "These Americans are crazy." Listen,
Yes,
I get right. So shout out to Pio for being so patient. So, Pyle, I guess I'll go back to you real quick. I want to ask a question. Guys, it's not the change. I'm just slightly diverting. By the way, shout out and thank you to Kratos99. It's been such a long time since I didn't even know what color that was in the super chat. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, is my screen broken? Kratos, thank you so much. He says, here's a 50. I'm loving the panel. Kratos, thank you. You've made my weekend. And I'm going to get to the super chats in a moment, but I want to go to Pyle real quick. Pyle, the other part of this whole thing with Stadia, and I'll put the screenshot up in a second, is how does Google Stadia's failure kind of hurt Microsoft's chances as they kind of acquire Activision? This is part of what we've been hearing from Sony and other people that may be claiming things to the CMA, where they're saying what Microsoft can do here, and I believe, shout out to the great Xbot448, who actually gave this evidence earlier, is that Microsoft, like Game Pass, can take something like xCloud, which was the competitor to Stadia, unless you guys disagree with me, and they can kind of tuck that away behind their service and just let it sit there and sit there and sit there and sit there and bleed. And then when all the other companies bail out, they're the only ones with the product. A lot of people feel that's what they can do with things like Game Pass. When they buy publishers, put games in there, bleed, till the Sonys of the world, other companies get hurt, they're gone, and then Microsoft can do as they please. That could be jack the price up, not make as many games. They can do whatever they want. You guys fill in the blanks. I'm not here for that. So, Pyle, what do you think when you hear stuff like that? And again, I'll put the clip up on a second for everybody in the audience to read on the screen. Do you think that this is something where Microsoft is able to leverage and they can kind of wait till they can saturate, or not saturate, but literally dry up the market and then take advantage of what they're doing, like with xCloud, for example? They may be the only xCloud streaming service of games in the future.
No, I don't think so, because let's say, how many millions did ChileAn say they're like console gamers? 240, 250, something like that? So with those gamers, let's say I want to play a game on Switch, right? We all gonna get a game on Switch, or like let's say you want to play a game on PlayStation. You can't wait, right? You can't wait to play God of War. You go buy PlayStation to play God of War. But there are people who they don't care about consoles, and they might be interested one day to play, like, let's say God of War or Halo or whatever, but they just don't care about consoles because they don't know it yet. Like they have no idea that they actually like these games. Let's say in 10 years, right, where like everyone has an extreme good phone and Wi-Fi, internet around the world is way better than it's now. You can walk into any store, like let's say Walmart in America, and every Walmart, every like I think it's called Target or whatever.
Yes.
Just any store you can go to, you can buy one of those like mobile controllers you can attach to your phone. And like, what if like every like literally every single store has those, and it just says these things like, oh, you can just play any console games on the phone. So the only thing someone has to buy are those things for like $20 or $30, whatever it's gonna cost, to play like any game on stream with good quality
and subscribe.
And subscribe. So that's the way I think they're gonna get those people that are not in the 250 million or whatever console gamers today to get to play console games. Now, if they buy a console, whatever, I have no idea. But that's how I think ChileAn says they have to like reach out of that bubble. But I think the people in the bubble, they don't care. Like they're gonna get any console or any PC game they want to. Like they can only care about the hardware and stuff. But people outside the bubble, I think it's gonna affect them. So from Microsoft's side, I mean, they have infinite amount of money, right? They're like the second biggest company in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna keep cloud gaming no matter what. You can see with the CEO how he talks about cloud gaming and Xbox right now. They're gonna keep this thing going on forever. With Sony, I think it's gonna be an option. With Microsoft, I think they're gonna primarily focus on that, not give up. I think they have like a very, very long plan for this. Even if it's bleeding some money, I think they're just gonna keep going at it.
Okay.
But I do think that eventually they're gonna try to get those people that are outside the console bubble to join in, basically.
Okay, so you hear Pyle what he's saying there. Jay Barry, I gotta. Xbot, do you have I want to go to Jay as well, but go ahead, Xbot, finish your point.
No, just real quick. Like I saw the headline that you put up there, and I gotta say, for the most part, that's complete bullshit. The only reason why,
well, I didn't write it.
Listen, the only reason why Google Stadia will point to the Bethesda acquisition,
yes,
as a point, and one of the reasons why was because they became thoroughly dependent on third party. They dropped their first party studio. So yeah, that does factor into it. But when it comes down to it, I don't expect anybody from Google or from Stadia to point out their structure when it came to pricing, or when it came, oh man, we should have came out with a box as well. We should have came out with hardware as well. They're not going to say all that.
Right.
And if they can say anything that would deflect some of the responsibility over to somebody else, it's like, yeah, we made mistakes, but look at that acquisition helped as well. To bring anybody else into it as a reason why their platform, they're shutting it down, they're going to do that. All right. And that's what that headline for that article is, man. It's BS, bro.
Well, and that's fine. I respect your opinion on that, Xbot. Jay Barry, what do you think when you see something like that? And that's an older article clip, of course, of when they interviewed Phil Harrison about, what was going on with their first-party studios that we closed, right? Exactly.
Death follows him.
Well, what do you think? And Jay, I'll go to Jez after that. What do you think, though, Jay? I mean, is this a situation where Microsoft is using things like Game Pass? They're grabbing publishers. They're putting beloved IPs into their subscription service, and then they'll just hold. They'll wait. They'll bleed money. It doesn't matter. They can do that. They have it. That's the goal. And then when other companies just fail and cease to exist, and I really want to get Worry Wharton here because I think he may be a professor on this. He knows a lot about this from the history of Microsoft. But what do you think, Jay?
Shout out to Google for disclosing that, or whoever disclosed that. Great job on you. Send that over to the CMA. And so we can.
Oh my God!
Ain't gonna help. Ain't gonna help.
That's my brother right there. He ain't playing.
Cut me off. That's what you want to do.
There you go, Dave. Our snitch.
Listen,
6'9". We need some snitches in the industry.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. I've been watching Phil Spencer with a great eye. Okay, the people over there with Phil Spencer, Satya, whoever. I've been watching them very, very closely. They are planting these people there in these companies and destroying them from inside out. Phil Harrison is a main component. Now he put Mike Ybarra and the other dude over there in Activision and Blizzard, and look what happening now. Now they back working for Microsoft.
I'm sorry. They put them in there, or did that company hire them?
Listen, he gave a recommendation.
I'm just saying.
Beware where Bonnie Ross goes next.
You can't put them in there.
He gave a recommendation. That's what happened. You know what I mean? But no, I really and truly, I didn't really read up on the whole Bethesda thing. Them blaming the Bethesda acquisition or whatnot. But I said it jokingly at first, but this is strengthening the case for PlayStation or whoever when it comes to the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and that's real serious, because one of the biggest things what the CMA is saying is that it's not only for PlayStation, it's for like other developers or other, people that's putting out games and the services that can hinder their growth because of this acquisition. Mm-hmm. And that, look what you had a perfect example there, if this is true, with this Google Stadia thing.
All right, so go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna say, like, the thing is that Stadia, I agree, that thing was dead on arrival. And the reason why is because Stadia required almost like a new console. Like, developers had to make a game for new hardware that they had in their cloud servers. When Microsoft does have the advantage is that they are using the console as the thing to power their cloud, which was a much better approach and a smarter approach, because you don't have to go out there and recruit and have publishers make new, it's almost like coming up with a new console in the middle of a console like competition. It's like, oh, make stuff for me. Just like, remember how early Xbox had that challenge where people were just making stuff for PS2, but then Xbox had to establish itself to get publishers to make games for Xbox. Like, they were the new hardware. Stadia had that problem. Google showed up and said, hey, here are our specs, make stuff for Stadia, and not a lot of people wanted to make stuff for Stadia. Ubisoft was the first one because they're garbage. But basically, Xbox definitely has a better approach with the cloud because they're getting the consoles to power the cloud. So if you make a game for Xbox, you're making a game for cloud, which I think is a very smart move. As to the need of the cloud and Microsoft banking on that to pull in the mobile market or pull in that stuff, I think that's not realistic. I think that is just like what they said in 2012, how console gaming was dead and mobile gaming with iPads was going to take over the world. And I guess you could say it did, but they basically said console gaming would be dead. Console gaming got stronger than ever and grew. So I think that was false. But if you remember, they were making us use tablets like Smart Glass to integrate our phone with gaming because they wanted to try to pull that mobile gamer into the console, have that thing work. And it didn't really pan out. So the thing with Stadia was that Stadia was trying to give it, I think it was more for like their Chromebooks, weaker PCs, things like that, to have Stadia function. But they did a lot of stupid stuff, and they just had a bad pricing model as well. Yes. And I think Game Pass does give Microsoft some leverage. At least you're getting some games. However, Phil did say that they eventually want you to buy games with the cloud. So they'll have a storefront where you buy the game and you get access to the cloud, because that's how NVIDIA works. NVIDIA works where you subscribe, you get like a Game Pass type game where you get a couple of games a month, but then you buy games on that storefront and you pay a monthly subscription to access them on the store. But you also get the Steam codes to get the game physically as well, or digitally as well. But you're also paying a subscription to access them. So I think Phil definitely, the next step after Game Pass gets there is to create a cloud storefront. And I think their approach is just to try to get their product in front of more eyes. Whether that's going to yield more like this growth and stuff, I don't think so, because I think once you require accessories and things like that to a phone, it removes the idea of mobile gaming or mobile stuff. Because people, just like with headphones, people wanted those buds in the ear. They don't want to be carrying headphones and stuff like that. Because as soon as you have to bring the controller and your phone, did I bring it? It takes that whole idea of popping the phone out of your pocket and playing a game like a mobile gamer would. So their strategy, it's a risk. I don't think there's a need for it, and I do think the last issue with this is that this mobile strategy with streaming depends on the providers, the T-Mobiles, the AT&Ts, the Verizons, and once you start dealing with them, they're not going to give you the speeds that you need to make this successful. Microsoft don't control 5G. They don't control 6G. The problem is that they're going to charge more money for if you want a gaming tier to give you that speed. And is that going to cloud their network? Is that going to require them to have more outages? You're depending on those sleazy goddamn mobile providers to make this service successful. And that's the problem.
Well, hey, listen, just put it out there. Now, I do want to go over to Worry. If you don't mind, I really do want to hear your take on this. And I think I butchered it. I didn't do justice. Me and you've had some great conversations in the past. One of the things that you felt that Microsoft's done in the past with other products, it's a question. I'm not really saying that you necessarily agree with it. I want to get your take on it. Do you feel that this is another area where Microsoft can stronghold, and maybe that's what certain things that the CMA or the FTC or whoever the agency is that's looking for fair trade and competition? Is this something that concerns you when you see that Microsoft can wait the long? I mean, Google's got a lot of money too. Let's not confuse things. But for some reason, Microsoft they have an ability here to bleed money out in the gaming industry because they have IP and they have a console and they have fans. They have something that can last a lot longer than something Google had. Is this going to be a flash from the past with other Microsoft devices once they can wait out their competition?
I mean, it reminded me of what happened with Netscape a long time ago. It reminded me of the early 2000s when the entirety of the United States took Microsoft to court for anti-consumer and monopolistic practices. But it's called the Walmart approach. I don't know if you've heard this before when it comes to businesses. What happens is, do you remember all the little mom and pop shops? I don't know where any of you grew up, but there are all these little mom and pop shops where you would go to get your groceries or you would go to get whatever. And then all of a sudden, say they're selling something like a loaf of bread for $1.
Yep.
Walmart comes into the neighborhood and they say, okay, how many mom and pop stores are there around here? We're going to sell loaves of bread for 50 cents forever until they're all dead. And then everybody has to come to Walmart. That does happen. It happens a lot. And just because Microsoft has a lot of money doesn't mean that it's evil or they shouldn't do this, but that's why regulation exists, because you can't allow somebody to just perpetually take losses until everybody else is just dead. I mean, you said it with Stadia. If Stadia goes away and then Luna goes away, well, they're the only ones left. Well, the problem with that is if you're making a shit sandwich and nobody's buying it and you go under, and then Luna makes a shit sandwich and nobody buys it and they go under, you can't be happy that you're the last one left selling a shit sandwich,
right?
Because no one's buying it.
Right.
So you still, at the end of the day, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much leverage you're able to put on everyone else in the market. And look, let's be clear, okay? I'm not saying Xbox is a bad system. I've been with Xbox for a long time.
Yeah.
Microsoft isn't the greatest company in the world when it comes to fair practices. And I'm not saying, like, let's compare them to Apple or let's compare them to Google. They're all pretty much shit when it comes to competition and pushing each other. So regulation has to occur. If they're taking losses, and there's a reason why Game Pass numbers aren't revealed and the CMA asked for them, because probably what you're going to see is a huge loss. And then you ask the question, why would you be in a market like this for this long, taking this much loss? And the answer is because you're looking to dominate it. You're looking to be the only show in town. When they say things like, we want to expand gaming to everyone on all devices, that's great. But imagine a playground where everybody can go and play, but you have to walk through this door that says Windows on it. It's not really open, and it's not really for everyone. The same thing happened with Windows, the operating system.
Yes.
So, they have to regulate it if it goes through, and I think that it will. Then it always comes down to content. It always comes down to content. Look at God of War. Look at the trailer. Look at what that one trailer did. I think within like 30 seconds. So to me personally, that's what they need. They need the content. I've felt like Microsoft has been sort of moving away from the type of Xbox gamer that I was for quite some time now.
Yeah.
So let's say Fable comes out and it's 1,000,000 times better looking than Horizon Forbidden West. It's completely and totally polished.
Right.
Completely and totally a single player experience. When was the last time they created?
Hey, worry! Don't get too ahead of yourself on that one. Let's tone it down a little.
But I mean, for me, I'm looking for when was the last time they created a character that identifies with the brand, like a Marcus Phoenix. Where is their Jin Sakai? Where is their Right, where are these things? And if these things happen, then I don't care what they're doing behind the scenes.
Right.
But they're not happening. So that's why that's why I have a little bit of an issue with all of these things that they're talking about. Like, cloud is so much more important than anything else. Show me content first. That's all I want is content.
We'll buy into the cloud if you got the product behind it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm never buying into the cloud. I'm just saying I just want good content. And then, look, I get that that's subjective, kind of. But there's an objective standard to great content. Even if you don't like God of War, objectively, graphically, just technically, it is amazing. That's what I'm looking for them. I want them to create something rather than just talk about the future and what's going to happen, what may happen, what will happen, what can happen. I don't care about any of that. I care about right now, and I care about what I'm able to play and what I'm able to be excited about, period.
I really appreciate that you grounding everything right there, because no matter what side of the coin you're on here, you do have to appreciate what Worry's saying there. Everything that we ever have, I sit back and read a lot of the discussions that go on Twitter, and it's all a lot of what ifs. What if this? What if that? Well, I don't know about you guys, but what did we hear all through the pandemic? Live for today. You don't know if tomorrow's coming. It could have been worse. We might have another pandemic. So what is it? If Microsoft wants us to buy in on their system, what are you giving us today? And what are we affiliating ourselves? What character? Like you said, where's the Marcus Phoenixes? Where's the Master Chiefs? We haven't had anyone that kind of say resembles the product that you want to go and purchase and play. There's no character there. There's none. And by buying these third-party teams, it doesn't really feel like a home-cooked meal. You know what I mean? It still feels like DoorDash. No, it might be a great meal, but it doesn't feel home cooked. It doesn't feel like you said the Jin Kazais and the and I'm saying it wrong too. What was it you say? You gave it was Ghost of Tsushima, but like Jin
Sakai,
Sakai,
Aloy from Horizon.
Aloy, you said. I mean, there's a whole bunch of Nathan Drake. You know what I mean? There's, of course, Kratos. There's a bunch of characters that they have out there. Joel Miller. I mean, you've got anything. Ellie.
Joel they got.
You know, even Abby, Team Abby. I mean, it is what it, but nonetheless, my point being is that you can feel that character and that placement with that product. Go ahead, Jess, and then I want to get to some super chats.
What I'm saying is, like, you know, when you hear things where they took away the game mode, that spot and ops because they just didn't have the resourcing for it, or they're doing when you hear that stuff should not exist. And finding games and things like that. When these games, Gears 5, they stopped after season 5. They just stopped putting stuff out for Gears 5. They shut down their Gears Sports. The Gears 5 was on every device imaginable. Halo Infinite is free to play. How are they having resource concerns and not playlists and things like that? This thing should be ever evolving, like a Fortnite. And this is what I mean. It's like, it doesn't matter how many places this thing is. It needs to be engaging, and people need to want to play the content you're providing. It's desirable content. If people are not playing it, it doesn't matter where it is. It's everywhere already. And why did Gears 5 had shorter legs than Gears 4? Gears, they had to force crossplay.
Xbot, your retort.
They had to force crossplay with PC gamers because people couldn't find matches on PC.
Yeah.
They had to force crossplay. That doesn't sound like a model where everybody's playing and there's super lobbies. It's on every device. We're all one big, huge family. More people, 2 billion people. They shouldn't be saying on part 4 update, we got to force crossplay because people can't find games.
Yeah,
and they forced crossplay.
That's my biggest.
5.
That's my
in
biggest.
fact, I'm seeing more people not liking crossplay. I mean, in the beginning, I think I seen people in the beginning. Like, remember a year ago, 2 years ago, everybody thought it was a great idea.
It's not.
There's one of those. It's like Will Smith. It sounded great in my head, but then once it got executed, then people are like, "Wait a minute, I'm not liking this."
That's the thing, P.
I'm seeing everybody turning off crossplay for COD, and that's like one of the biggest multiplayers we got.
Yeah.
And everybody's like,
you know what else I think is horseshit about this whole thing? Is that the console suckers have to pay for online gaming to get the freeloaders of PC to just jump in and do whatever they want.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
That's some bull. That's some bull right there.
You know, I got to come back.
I'm not going to blame PC for that.
Bitches.
Like, me and just like, bro.
Publisher.
Yeah, that's first party. Like that. When you go into a console, you're stuck in an ecosystem. Whereas a Steam and stuff like that, you don't there's a choice.
Dude,
it happened once with Microsoft Live.
No,
they
try to force
PC
players.
I
know they did with Windows Live, but the thing is that it's kind of crappy that they are charging for online play for the console for that experience, that secure experience. But then opening it up to PC gaming.
For free.
I think it should be.
I think it's bullshit. I think it's bull. I agree.
No, absolutely.
If you're going to make PC dudes play for free and Steam and everybody else and mobile gamers, everybody playing online for free, why are we paying for what experience? You're not giving us any better servers. You're not giving us any better access.
Valve is not suffering for offering free online play. They're not suffering.
We're not getting. They're not throwing some okie dokie games, I guess. PlayStation's been doing better games than Games of Gold. Oh Jesus, 4-2. Yo, did you see that? Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. The games were gold.
Well, what I thought, PS Plus back then, Jez, was in PS3 generation. I thought they did well because, they didn't... Well, you could argue, their infrastructure wasn't up to snuff with 360, but they offered a service with free games. Which it was really good in the PS3 generation, Devil May Cry and I think God of War Ascension and stuff like that. Or the God of War Ascension demo or something like that.
No, you're right.
So I thought, that stuff was really cool.
But I just think that you're adding all the online other players for free, and then but we are paying for online, and it's like, well, we don't get any priority, better, anything. You're not giving us better servers, better access, nothing. You just open up crossplay.
I could at least imagine dedicated servers. At least that,
right?
Not even
at the minimum. At the minimum.
Not even that.
The issue with crossplay, like you said, P-Rock, is the execution. Crossplay is a great idea. It's something that I feel like majority of gamers that play online would love, but the way how they execute it is terrible. They go back on their word when they said that it's going to be peripheral based crossplay. So if people are playing on controller, the game is going to recognize that, and that's who you're going to get lumped into. but that's not the case when it comes to Call of Duty, because now they're just lumping you with everything. And majority of the people that want crossplay, they want it with console. So if you're a popular game like Call of Duty, I don't see what's the issue with having the option of deciding who you want to crossplay with. If you want to crossplay with Xbox, you turn that on.
Yeah.
If you want to crossplay with everybody, you turn that on. Give us the option to switch it off and on.
I agree with that. Because even
nice
PC
option.
players argue that. too,
Everybody
because,
knows, but they're not stupid. They know what's going to happen. Is everybody's going to check PlayStation, Xbox.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
You know,
Everybody knows.
And you know what? I have told just the last point with this is that I agree that implementation, and it's like one of those things from Spider-Man, like great power comes great responsibility. You want to make this big thing work, this everybody on everything playing online, then you better put in the proper precautions and adjustable toggles that we could do. And I think the laziest thing that both of these companies did with Sony and Microsoft, both of them, especially Microsoft leading this whole thing, is that they should have made it they should have made it hardware or basically system level. Instead, what they did was they put it up in the air going, oh, the developers will decide on how they want to do it. Woohoo!
Yeah, you can't do that. That's right.
No.
And that's the one thing, whether we're talking about that subject or the others where Microsoft is grabbing all these teams and they're doing a hands-off approach, I don't think you can do that. That sounds really nice. We got, what sounds nice on Twitter and the PR talk, that's one thing. And then there's actually the way things are run, and you have to have your hands in the dough. You can't leave it up to the devs. You just can't do that. I got a bunch of super chats here that I want to read, but I do want to do
Hey guys, you have a great night. I'm gonna keep listening to the show.
All right, thank you, P-Rock, for being here. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think I got to jump off too, man.
Well, Jez, I appreciate you guys both coming on. Thank you very much.
Dude, a pleasure, guys. Keep the fire going.
That's right.
Talk to you guys later, man.
Appreciate it, Jez. Thank you, buddy. The great Babor Country comes back. He says, Destruction All-Stars. Now, guys, remember, Babor is a big PlayStation fan. Take that into the great Babor Country, brother. Destruction All-Stars is better than Halo. Returnal PC leaks with Ratchet. And only PS5 game. Shame on SIE with Sackboy. So Babor is not a big fan of seeing these games go to PC. I personally have no issue with that at all, Babor, but I do respect your opinion. The great Jimmy Harrison says, love the show as always.
Babor. I'm with you.
Yeah, Jay, I know you.
Oh my gosh,
My brother Worry is back. By the way, what Porter Rock described regarding his wife is exactly what mine does with her phone. Jimmy, same here as well. The great Moneybag 97, he says, look, cloud gaming and mobile is for 25 and under. New gen. We're old gen. Asia, China, Japan, big on cloud and mobile. Moneybag, I like where you went there. It really is a youthful thing, but I think when it comes down to it, I think a lot of people on the panel, you can go ahead and say that we're a bit older. Not everybody. There are young folks that are on the panel as well. But I want to say that, I think that we try to keep our ear to the ground, and heck, I'm trying to stay forever young, nonetheless. Great C-Mad says, everyone on the panel, aside from BRAP, is dismissing an existing market. Cloud access opens up console games to the billions already in the market. We're not going to go through that one again, C-Mad, but appreciate the super chat. The Great Babor is back. He says, BRAP, 2001, PS2 had online gaming.
They did.
So we'll have
they
to...
Did.
Well, there you go. Is that the great Xbox 448 coming in?
No, PlayStation did have the online gaming first. What happened was Xbox Live had it to the point where, you had the communication, you had the chat, you had everything. It did revolutionize kind of like online gaming on console because there were features on it that you didn't get anywhere else. Besides,
Xbox made online gaming more streamlined. Like
PlayStation there was more ease of use. There was more features, like being able to talk on console, being able to talk to the other person. Talking about like NBA 2K and talking that shit and stuff like that. That was like brand new on that platform, on the console with Xbox, and that's why people kind of adhere to it as kind of like being revolutionary in the console space with online gaming.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you,
Xbox. It was
Xbox.
also Halo 2, though. Halo 2 made a huge impact on like the experience. Like
absolutely.
The only
Halo did
before PS3 and 360 was Halo 2 on consoles. Online.
Dude, I was using online gaming for Outlaw Golf. That was my big game. Like that's what I was rocking a lot.
Shout out to also Kratos. I want to say thanks again to Kratos99 for that amazing super chat. Thank you, Kratos. I will not forget that ever. Raylo says, no one here or in the chat cares about cloud, so why are we talking about it for 45 minutes? Raylo, when you get a conversation that hot, You got to stick with it. But Raylo, also, thanks for joining the channel, buddy, and becoming a Mooch Maniac family member. I totally appreciate that. And you will be recognized.
Be like, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained, Raylo? Shout out to TrueWiddy. He says, Xbot 448. That's why you call a corporate espionage. So that was from before. So shout out to TrueWiddy. Royal Boyle's back. He says, Mooch, the show's fire. It's like battle rap of gamers. Love it. Got my money on P-Rock tonight. Physical hardware is forever here, period. Oh, yeah. Let's effing go Mets. We are down 2-1 right now. It's breaking my heart. Rallo comes back. He says, since I can't post the link, search, in quotes, seeking Alpha Sony met with EU regulators, end quote. News from 4 hours ago. Sony and Google both voiced concerns to regulators. Hashtag stop the deal. Hashtag hello FTC. Hashtag respect gaming. Shout out to Bari. Shout out to Hoodrich9022. He says, so come on PS2. You could talk with this guy saying. Appreciate that, Hoodrich. Thank you so much. I want to go ahead and ask. Now, Pyle, we're going to switch here because it feels like we were kind of piling on there with Cloud and Microsoft and what was going on with Google. Now we're going to kind of change our attention here to some of the bad news that PlayStation got this week. Pyle, let me start with you. PlayStation Star's rewards program. And I got to tell you, I want to hear what the panel has to say, and I'll save my opinion for last. Pyle, what's the whole situation with how you're feeling here? And I have the article up here so I can read it. But basically, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, panel. If you purchase 4 games and you have so many rare trophies, maybe 128
rare trophies for full price games, not sale or anything.
Right, 4 full price games, which, I mean, let's be honest, the average consumer buys, and I think the estimates out there are 2 games a year. So if you buy 4 full price games and you have those rare trophies, you'll get some special treatment on the service, the customer service end. So Pyle, let me start with you. What do you think of the Stars program first and foremost? And what do you think about this tier 4 here where, you know, they're kind of saying if you do this, then you'll receive that. And others that are in line at customer service that are regular customers would maybe get moved to the side.
Well, the Stars program, I don't really have much opinion on it because it's not here for me. Like, it's not actually in Sweden, and it probably won't be for a while. Mm-hmm. But I think like when an article like this comes out for like PlayStation, right? I think PlayStation needs to hire new PR people that double check everything they do. Because sometimes I'm like, why is this bad news for PlayStation? Like, because if someone just like with a brain looks at some of the news they put out, they could just avoid it, but not putting it out.
I agree. It's avoidable.
Like this is very like why would they? Who approved this? Like I always think about like when they make a decision like this, just like why make it? Like imagine they're in a meeting, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, does no one go like, this is a bad idea, let's not do it? Like,
we were saying that last night.
Like there's so like I don't want to like start like this whole Jim Ryan thing, but you have seen PlayStation have so bad PR in the last 2 years. Even though the games are amazing, they're like the PS5 first 2 years are way better than PS4 first 2 years. But the PR is horrible for like this generation for PS5 compared to like the PS4. But the PS4's biggest critics were like, yeah, too many indie games. I remember that, like Indie Station and stuff, which is funny when people like hated that.
Well, let me do this. You know, Pio, I got to say, I'm going to take my own words back. I wanted to wait till the end here, but I want to give one example, and I won't get into it. I want to give my example, and I want to hear your take. And, of course, I want to get Red Hood Jay in here, the great Xbox defense lawyer as well at the end here. But my point being is that I had bought a very expensive air conditioning unit. This is a true story. And, I mean, it really was. It was for a rental unit, and I had put this it was for massive square footage, and I put this big air conditioning unit. Anyways, fast forward about 3 years, the air conditioning unit started to kind of not put out the AC that we paid for. Let's put it that way. So I gave a call, and yes, it was the dead of summer. Okay, when you need your heater fixed in the winter, and you need your air conditioning fixed in the summer. We've all been there, right? We've all been there. So I call up, and I said, geez, I spoke to the sales rep that I spoke to a few years back, and I said, look, I'm looking to, try and get this thing fixed, whatever, blah, blah. And he says to me, are you in our, I'm trying to think of what it's called here. Not like a rewards program, but are you in our, it's a service to have, you pay $200 a year and you are in their I'm just gonna make it up. I don't remember the name of it. Elite service. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, what is that? He says, well, because we have so many customers and we deal with so many different air conditioning units or heating units, depending on the time of year. He says, if you're not in this program, we will get to you. But he's like, I can get to you in a week and a half. He's like, because we do our priority, because these are the people that we and this is a big company, by the way. I'm not going to mention the name of the company. This isn't a mom and pop, okay? This is a big company. And I found that to be odd. I go, I spent a lot of money on this air conditioning system, and it's not working. And he goes, no, we'll take care of it. But he goes, we take care of the priority customers first, and they pay $200 a year to be in this program. And I'm like, huh? And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I got to get in this program. So I'm like, because I can't wait a week and a half at 92 degrees a day. It's just not right. So my point being is that this is something I encountered. There's others, right? Everyone's been posting them all over Twitter. Jay Barry's been posting. There's other people. I saw somebody, I can't remember if it was sick or who it was. Somebody posted the IHOP thing today on Twitter. But there's reward programs out there. So I agree with you, Pio, on the...
Anything, that AC thing is way more egregious than anything we're talking about right now.
Oh, absolutely. I was pissed.
Down to it,
I was pissed.
You're talking about the health of people.
Yep.
In like a heat wave. That is messed up.
I was extremely pissed off about that Xbox. I got to be really, really honest with you. I mean, a couple of years has passed, so I'm not as riled up. But my point being is that these reward programs are out there, and Xbox, right? Mine is to the craziest degree. But Pio, I think I agree more with you on how their PR is, but I don't know if I necessarily dislike that they have their ranking systems.
Yeah. They can have their ranking system, but like, what do we have to know about it? Let's say you call in, right? You give your email, and as soon as you give your email, just name. They're like, "Oh, this is your email." They're like, yeah, it's my email. They can see your PSN. They can see your thing.
Yep.
And then they can prioritize you by just seeing your profile. We don't have to know that.
Keeping a cloak on it, man. I don't know about that. Like, okay. The thing about this is, first off, it's just priority in chat. All right. It's not like I had to say this on the podcast last night. It's not improved customer service. Now, people on the panel might disagree with me, but I've seen over the years like horror stories when it comes to the customer service with PlayStation and Sony anyway. So the way I looked at it, so like, you earned your spot to be first in line for them to give you the middle finger. Like I don't really think of that as like that big of a deal. I can see where people are getting upset over it, but like it's not better customer service. It's just getting in line quicker.
Literally going to like a Disney park and going to like the roller coaster first, but it's a really bad roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you earned the right to get the FU quicker when it comes down to it in customer service. Like I don't know.
So Jay Barry, go ahead, Red. If you have to finish your point, go ahead, Red.
Like the reward, I think isn't that great. I think they should have stuck with just doing like $10 discounts with based on trophies and all this stuff. I know they want to save money or make more money as possible, but I feel like as fans in these types of reward programs, you want to like benefit your consumers or the gamers. I feel like having these like digital collectible items and getting first in line customer service and not getting any benefit with customer service, like it's just overall I feel like it's kind of an L in terms of their rewards program, and I think it just needs an overall like huge overhaul.
So let me ask Jay, I'll go to you real quick. Jay Barry, the more I think about it, I sit there and I say to myself, they're not going to not help you in customer service. You're just not going to be bumped to the front of the line. But Disney does this, right? You pay for those priority bracelets or whatever it's called, the Fast Pass, and now they're getting even worse. So you're sitting there with your family. It's 95 degrees. You can't even get out of line for like a lemonade, right? And then all of a sudden you got this family that just showed up. They're not even sweating yet, and they're going on the ride, but they paid more. So where are we with this whole thing? Is that something that you think PlayStation made a mistake on, or you think this is spot on?
Absolutely not.
There it is, dude.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing, Jay?
What are we doing here? This is only an issue if you don't game and purchase PlayStation games on your PlayStation that supposedly everybody owns. It's not an issue if you're in the ecosystem and you play on PlayStation and you game on PlayStation. Only people I've really seen that's making such a big deal out of this is people that they don't own a PlayStation or they don't really game on PlayStation. This happens in a lot of services and retail, or just in a lot of companies where if you are a loyal member or you are a paying member or whatnot, you get perks where you get to skip the line or you get priority over other customers.
That's right.
I put the example.
It exists.
I put the example of
real quick. What about those quote unquote casual gamers that like only buy like that Call of Duty every year and put hundreds and hundreds of hours into it?
Right, but now you have an incentive to spend more and play more.
Oh nah, bro.
That's the reason why you have these things. It's no different than if Xbox implemented a reward system. What are people doing? They're going to buy their games on Xbox Store so they can get those reward points. That's giving you an incentive.
What do you think about the rewards program as a whole, though? Because I wanted to know that your take there.
I think it's a great thing because this is just combining all the reward programs that PlayStation had throughout its entirety on PS3 and on PS4, where it was like in segments, like they staggered out segments of rewards. Now it's just a streamlined thing for PlayStation gamers. The thing is that my whole thing is like I don't see an issue with if you are a loyal customer and you pay more than the average consumer, or you play more than the average consumer, you get better treatment or prioritized treatment. That happens with a lot of companies and a lot of things. Like I said,
is it really better treatment though? Just being like
you get moved to the queue. You get it's like I said, AMC is my perfect example. I'm an AMC Stubs member. I'm not gonna turn my head and be like, dang, I feel bad that I'm skipping this motherfucker right here because I paid monthly for this perk here where I get to skip a line and order my food and my snacks and everything.
But to be fair, Barry, that you get benefits of getting like a free large popcorn every here and there, whereas like I could be wrong, you could correct me, but there's no real like discount or anything like that currently with the rewards program, correct? It's just collectibles. No.
With the Stars program, you do get it's so much more than just what everybody's talking about now with the skipping of the
that's like
and the collectibles and the skipping.
Yeah, the collectibles is there. You get store rewards. You get
Have anybody talked about the like what they are getting otherwise, like in Japan or anything like that? Have we heard anything about building up to get like currency to spend on games or anything? Have we heard anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, what mainly people are focusing on is just the level 4 tier,
the information
level 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, the information expot that you're looking for is out there. It's just that, of course, the media runs with anything sour, so it's like anything that would get anybody riled up is what the media is gonna.
If that good, they're gonna be somebody like reporting it out there. Like I haven't seen anything like, oh damn, like if you're at this tier and you're
because the servers just came out. It legit.
When did it release in Japan?
Just like the day that article came out.
The day the article came out. It was I got it right here, September 29th.
Yeah, like yesterday. It just came out yesterday. In Japan, and it's coming out.
And this
later.
Is shout out to the VGC for credit. I believe VGC was the one that broke it. I mean, it was something that was in writing, but they're the ones that broke the art. It says PlayStation is giving top Stars members priority in quotes in customer support. Players are criticizing the move, which implies other users will get a poorer service.
All right, check this out. Check this out real quick. PlayStation Stars members will have opportunities to earn what they call loyalty points, as well as
that's what I was going to talk about. Yeah,
points can be redeemed in a catalog that may include PSN wallet funds and select PlayStation Store products.
They already confirmed that stuff when it comes to PlayStation Stars, that you are getting funds towards your wallet.
You're getting loyalty points that
but you can put it towards. There's no
get out. They can put it in and take it out. They can
it works like how Sony rewards are now. Sony rewards, you get points and you You take your points and you go to like, oh, if I want a PSN card, or if I want this game, or if I got enough, or if I want this TV, you put it towards whatever you want.
So,
now it's just going to be console side.
I've got to give.
Okay, I would say earning points is good. It's good then. Like I was thinking, like the discounts weren't going to be like drastic, but like if you're earning like I don't know $10 or $5, but I just want to know like what to that degree of like I don't know like trophies and how many games you buy that'll equal to how much you get in your wallet.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Ryan Landis in the chat. He says, "Aren't games in Game Pass cheaper to buy if you have Game Pass?"
Yeah.
So you have to
buy them at a discount,
but you have to pay to get into that discount.
Yeah, but like that is an additional.
Why can't Xbox Live Gold members take advantage?
Hold on, that's an additional like feature of Game Pass that came out right from the beginning. Like
it is an additional feature of Stars
that just came out.
I got you. I'm not.
No.
Like,
I'm just saying, but Ryan. No, I hear you. No, but Xbox. No, that actually wasn't poised to you. That's actually it's kind of rhetorical. And I want to hear although I want to hear the panel's thoughts. Yes.
I was gonna say I don't know how that's a point when yes you are paying you're paying a monthly fee, and inadvertently if you look at it like they're selling it at a discount, but your fee is also helping to pay for whatever discounted price that was as well. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. It's I
think it's in a different lane, but it's running parallel to it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's I get your point. No, Red Hood, Pio, BRAP. Any thoughts on this?
No, like I was gonna say like Barry kind of explained more about the point system because I wasn't very well versed into the point system, but like it sounds good on paper. It just I would like to know once what games equals like I have a lot of fun trophies going into that as well. Anything else, I don't care about anything else when it comes to digital collectibles. That to me is like I don't care. That's just like that doesn't do anything for me.
It's a cool little add-on.
It's a cool add-on, but it doesn't do anything for me.
If you can like customize a room and have like all your little digital kind of like things displayed and you can move around, that'd be really cool. I like stuff like that, man.
Maybe they might incorporate it if they bring back PlayStation Home, which I kind of talk about on RGT with VR and whatnot, where they'll maybe bring it to like something similar to like VR chat, where they'll have it like PlayStation Home and PlayStation VR 2, and then you can show off, like you're saying, your room customized with all these collectibles you earned, which could be kind of cool. But
I used to do that. I don't know if you guys remember NFL 2K. Like you had your own kind of like apartment way back in the day, and you can decorate it, and they had your trophies and everything you won in the football games and stuff, and you can kind of like get different furniture and stuff. I like stuff like that, man. I think that's pretty cool.
No, I hear a shout out to TrueWiddy, Mooch Maniac family member. He says GameStop has a rewards program, right? I don't know the issue. Yeah, I mean they, same thing. So if Xbot and I are in line, I'm just picking on Xbot. We're in line and we both have the same game. I'm a rewards member. He's not. I get 10%.
Well, you get 10%, but you don't get to cut in line. And
I don't get to cut in line. That is true, but I do get more money than you.
Yes, don't you pay for that though?
You do, sure.
Yeah, Stars is free.
But Stars is free, but if you pay more, well, look at it as a purchase. Then
if you buy
more, then you get more. It's the same thing, right? If I buy more at GameStop, which is the $10 of whatever it is.
I think what people are saying is when it comes to the customer service, I think that's the issue. And what I'm trying to reiterate.
No, I hear you.
Well, I'm trying just to reiterate the fact that when it comes to customer service, it's not better customer service. Like again,
a
lot of people were pushing that customer service should be for everyone. Yeah, you're still getting customer service.
It's just
everyone is getting customer service.
You just bump in line.
Yeah,
I think it's honestly, like if I were running a company, I would not use that as a benefit. Like I don't see anybody like oh shit, like now I get to be 7th in line.
You know what though? 12th. Can I tell you something? I don't even. I've been. Go ahead, Pio. What are you saying?
No, that's where like the PR sucks. Like what? Like whose idea was it to tell everyone?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
To be honest with you, it's a very common thing because I pay Best Buy monthly, so I get to skip people. I'm not waiting in line
you
because
pay. You automatically
yes,
pay.
yes, but you are still to get to that tier or to get to that level of tier. You are paying.
Right.
You are paying.
It's the same idea. It's kind of
idea.
Yeah.
If I'm paying to be loyal, just like no different than another Best Buy or anything else. I should get is no different like an airport. If you go to an airport right now, if you have a whole bunch of points or you in a certain club or whatnot, you are going to get priority treatment.
Again, 10% off has nothing to do
That's
with
actually
customer service.
No, but actually the airline example is a good one. If you buy so many, if you travel, if Jay Barry flies more than I do, he gets a reward package that gives him he gets to skip in line faster to his seat.
Lounge,
he gets a lounge, and that he's not paying extra. He just buys more tickets than me. He flies more. So
that does make sense though. But like, who in their right mind is gonna go like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get in this loyalty program.
I gotta get these 4 games in case there's something wrong.
Nobody's really focusing on. Oh, I need to get to level 4 to get to priority customer service. There's other things within level 4, but that's just part of the.
That's why they shouldn't mention it. They just mention good stuff and keep this out of it. Like I don't get it why they even mention this stuff.
You know what cracks me up too is I agree, Pyle. I think that's hysterical. You say that. Well, you don't get to remember the media nowadays. Gaming news is 365 days a year, 24/7. So they are digging for anything that will cause anybody any kind of. My thing is this: I've owned a PlayStation since the PS1 days. Okay, I've had a PlayStation since the PS1s. Even though I'm going to buy 4 games and be in the Stars program and maybe even get the trophies, I'm never even going to get to use this perk. I think I can tell you I've either called Sony for an issue once or never. So I'm not even going to get a chance to use this tier. I wish the tier 4 was something I would actually use. So exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's my gripe. I got a quick speed round here, and then we're going to, because I know over in Sweden it is really late, and I appreciate Pyle being here. Real quick speed round on one last topic. Pyle, I'll start with you.
Pyle's a trooper, man. He good.
Pyle's probably on like 5 Red Bulls right now.
Actually, I'm not. I'm just, I'm still on the food on the calorie things.
The calories are keeping you awake. I love it, Pyle. Yeah. All right, so Pyle, I'll start with you. Real quick, this is just a quick answer. I'm going to go to Red Hood, Jay Barry. I'm going to worry, and then we'll wrap up. Xbox is looking to buy more Japanese developers moving forward. Pyle, what's your thought? I mean, everyone knows you. You're a PlayStation guy. There's no way to hide that. You make PlayStation burgers, PlayStation pizzas. People need to know when you see Xbox trying to kind of get more into that Japanese market. Do you think this is a wise investment for them? And how do you think that the console gamers that support Xbox will they support these moves and these purchases that Xbox may be looking to make in the future?
In the future, it depends on what companies, right? Let's say Final Fantasy 17 or Persona 7 was exclusive to. It wasn't on PlayStation or Switch. It was like Xbox or PC.
Yeah,
I think that will affect somewhat, right? Somewhat. But if it's something smaller that's just not going to be on PlayStation, I don't think it's going to affect them. Almost anyway. Only maybe in Japan a little bit, but everywhere else in the world, no. It honestly depends on what company we're talking about. Like, what do you think the company is going to be? Like, how big are we talking? Like Square, or just talking about like smaller company? Like,
well, so from what I've read, and I don't know, it's nothing. It hasn't been anything large, but it may be big enough. Like you said, it could be something where it wouldn't be one game like they're going to get just Final Fantasy 17, or they would get like a Persona 6. It would be something, you know what I'm saying? Like it would be probably another maybe Japanese publisher or a series of developers.
Or developer, maybe like Platinum Games, maybe.
It honestly depends. So let's look at this, right? So, Call of Duty, right? Sony wants to keep that. And it's because, when Modern Warfare sold 30 million, I believe somewhere between 20 and 22 million were on PlayStation.
Yes.
So the majority of sales were on PlayStation. Now, BG Shark used to report physical sales back in 2016 and stuff. And you can see like the ratio for like, let's say Final Fantasy 16. Oh, no, 15 was like, I think it was 10-1 or 9-1 for like PlayStation or Xbox. So if PlayStation makes, an exclusive deal with Square, it doesn't affect the industry as much because the majority are already there. So if, let's say, Microsoft would take the majority of console sales, let's say Call of Duty or Final Fantasy, to them,
yes,
it will definitely affect them, right? Because the majority of sales are already on PlayStation. But if it's something smaller where it doesn't sell millions and millions of copies,
yeah,
so they're gonna buy a publisher that sells like 500,000. Let's say Trails of Cold Steel, that sells like 300,000 copies. If they buy something like that, makes it exclusive, that's only gonna affect like what, 250,000 people.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like it's a question of like how big and what they're gonna do with it. Like time exclusive.
And I wish I actually had more information, Pal. It really was just and it's still in rumor phase, but it's picking up more traction. So I'm starting to believe that it will be something. I don't know who or how big. And you make a good point. It depends on the scale of the developer, the scale of the game.
Of the game, yeah. And what they're gonna do with it. Let's say that they just buy the company and they make it on Xbox Game Pass. Japanese gamers are not gonna care. Like, I know a few Japanese gamers. They don't even know what Game Pass is because they just care about Switch and a little bit PlayStation, but mainly Switch. As long as on Switch, they're good. You know.
Wow, it's funny. Now, when you speak to a lot of your friends that are in Japan, do they say anything about? Do they feel that PlayStation's in a decline over there, or not really? They say it's just or is it their secondary console?
No, they're pissed. They hate Sony because they don't send enough consoles there.
Yeah. That's been like that since the beginning of PS4.
They don't get. No, the PS4 was like fine because they sent way more. But like,
well, don't forget, but the PS4 it didn't launch in Japan until February, and it launched in the Americas in November.
Yeah, I know, but at least they launched with like even more than PS5 did in the first like a few months. Now they're like sending. They should be sending at least 50,000 to Japan every week. They don't even send like 30,000. Like, at the very minimum, and also the consoles they send to Japan, they like scalpers buy them and they'll sell them outside of Japan anyway. So like the consoles that go there are not there. So let's say they sold like 2 million PS5s in Japan. Maybe 1.2 Japanese people actually have a PS5 right now, which is nothing. Obviously.
Yeah, no, that's true. This is true. Jay, what do you think when you hear this? I mean, Pyle made some good points. Is it the scale of the game that really matters that they may purchase, or is it the developer, or is it neither? Do you think that maybe it'll fall completely flat because, we've seen this with different situations, and I think Worrywart has tweeted out 1,000,000 times with Crisis Core that's coming out this December. He's been saying this on his channel. He's been saying it on Twitter. He's been saying, Xbox fans, if you want to see more of these types of titles coming to your platform, you need to go out and buy these games. And people still are saying that, games like Crisis Core that are come out on PlayStation and on Xbox this fall, the remaster, it's going to be a situation where there probably won't be large sales on Xbox. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be large sales on Xbox when it comes to Japanese games because they are already cultivated in not buying games, but to put it in Game Pass. They think every game should be in Game Pass, and that is their entitled right that they should play this game within that service. But like the whole rumor or them saying they're buying Japanese studios or whatnot, I don't know if that's gonna fly, especially with Xbox. They can't be that tone deaf within gaming or with their fan base. You know what I mean? Like the sales are pretty poor when it comes to Japanese games, and even when these games do go into Game Pass, they had every single Final Fantasy in Game Pass. They didn't play it. They had a whole bunch of Japanese games in Game Pass. Then Scarlet Nexus going to Game Pass. They didn't play it.
That's right.
All these games that were already in Game Pass is not being played. I don't know what it is. It's just probably the mindset of the gamer, or you know what I mean? It's just like if it ain't in Game Pass, they're not going to buy it. So I don't know if that will pan out well. Xbox buying any Japanese studio. Mm-hmm. They probably saying that just to get a reaction out of PlayStation or something like that for this whole Activision joint. Listen, I'm not putting nothing past Phil Spencer and those schemers over there on Microsoft. See what I mean? Like everything, I feel like they have a plan. Everything is calculated what they're saying and what they're doing. And that's just how I feel.
So Brian East agrees with you. That Brian, you kind of took the words right out of my mouth there. Octopath Traveler went into Game Pass, and people were just showing just a week or two ago how there's the percentage of completion of the second story, and it's still a rare achievement. So not a lot of people have even gone in to finish the second story within that. So shout out to Brian.
Kingdom Hearts came to Xbox for the first time, and that whole series was in Game Pass. They ain't play that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the question. Is Microsoft willing to put more money out of pocket for something that may just lay dormant and not sell well on the console? I don't know. That's yet to be seen.
Listen, I don't know which fanboy is in Phil Spencer's ear in these Xbox party chats. Well, you got a hold on this month. I don't know what's going on because, like I said, you can't be that tone deaf, and your fan base don't play these games like that. I'm not saying that you can't go out and go get them or have them on your platform, but I just think that's ridiculous.
Red Hood, what do you think? What's your thoughts on this? Do you agree with Pio and basically Bari, or do you have a different thought process on it?
I agree with most of what Bari's saying. Like, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, I agree with War saying like they're gonna have to buy it and show, that level of support to kind of have Square thinking maybe we don't take the deal for Sony's next venture for a Final Fantasy game being exclusive on the platform and PC, because honestly, if it's low sales and Sony fronts up the generated revenue with what Xbox would have brought forth.
Yeah.
Like that's an issue in of itself. Now, do I think Xbox could change it around by buying developers like Japanese publishers? It's very different though. That's the thing. Like a lot of people don't realize is Japanese publishers tend to own manga, tend to own cafe shops. Like Square owns like manga and cafe shops, like a Final Fantasy cafe shop. So like people got to realize when it comes to Japanese laws, like Microsoft would have to like think about like, oh well, then we would have to own a cafe shop and do all this other stuff, where it's like that's where it gets prevented. But
yes,
like overall, like could I see them buying a Platinum Games dev? Probably, like Tango Software or Tango.
Great call.
One of the same thing too. Yeah. So it's like one of those things you got to think about. But overall, it's like I said, I do feel like Xbox fans are very much in the shooter category or even RPG category.
Yes.
Western RPG to be more accurate. So like think about it like that aspect. It sucks because I know some gamers that do want, JRPGs, and I feel that for them. But like also Persona's coming out literally next month. And they have to show that level of support as well.
You really do. You really do.
Many people were literally asking for that game to be on Xbox. And now that it's there, even if it's on Game Pass, I'm telling people you got to download and finish it, because I feel like that also achievement rate is going to be very low for that game, especially beating the game. For Royal.
I really like your Platinum Games reference. That would be something. You've had Platinum that's already come out and said that they've been looking to, if they want to be acquired, they're open ears. They'll take it to the drawing board and listen to what you have to say. Ryan Landis says, Mooch, unless Xbox buys Japanese devs for third-party publishing on all platforms, doesn't really make a lot of sense. So shout out to Ryan Landis. Worry, I just want to, and you know what, I went ahead and spoke for you, but you've just pushed it, and it's such an interesting point. Worry, what is your thought when you hear about the capabilities and the possibilities, of Xbox buying a Japanese developer? You've been very, very vocal on supporting their games, and I don't know if we've seen the Xbox clientele and Xbox gamers do that quite yet.
I mean, I don't know about what that would do for them, but I can look at what's actually happening right now. Ni no Kuni came out 9 years ago.
Yes.
It just went into Game Pass, and the engagement numbers for that game are awful. Yep. Octopath Traveler, you mentioned that. That's another one.
Yep.
You've got to support these games. There are some developers, there are some game makers, there's some content that is not going to come to Game Pass. I hate to break it to people. It's just not going to happen. You still have to show the level of support. For me, the Infinite Undiscovery, the Blue Dragon, what was it? Infinite Undiscovery, Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey.
Yeah.
That level of spend and that big try that they did during the Xbox 360 generation, there wasn't a Game Pass then. Those games didn't sell very well. Usually when I bring this up, you have the one person that says, well, I bought them. That's fantastic. But what's the metric? It's very low. You can look at Octopath Traveler. You can look at Ni no Kuni. I'm playing that right now in Game Pass. every single achievement I'm popping is a rare achievement. I'm talking about opening up the game and starting the game. Doing the first thing is still a rare achievement. So
yeah, that's one of my favorite PS3 games, by the way, too, man. Great game. Finish that up.
The first one I loved, but the second one I didn't like that much. I don't know why.
The second one was great too, but the first one's story was just more impactful.
Yeah, it was really good. But you've got to. You can't just say, I want this game so that this list of games in my favorite subscription service looks good. You can stare at a list all day long. You have to have engagement. There has to be a level of engagement for different genres. And it's not been there traditionally with Japanese style games on the Xbox. Right. The same way that like shooters haven't done very well in Japan, Western style shooters. They're doing much better now, but you can't jump and say buy a Japanese publisher and then all of these troubles are going to go away because you own the content now. You can just throw it in Game Pass. You still have that problem of why are you buying something? Why are you buying food for people who aren't eating that type of food to begin with?
Great analogy. Very good point.
So that's where I am.
Well, that's a great point. I think that's what Jay was saying too. Like, who is in Phil's ear to say that this is a good move when he's done a couple of great moves? And I don't think he's seen the reward. I don't think it's leading people to Game Pass. And you're also not seeing the purchase, the engagement of them buying these games that end up on the platform that aren't in Game Pass. So it's a lose-lose. They're not getting the people to subscribe, and they're not getting people to buy the games. So a lot of times when you see this banter on Twitter, it's not. Go ahead, Red.
It's a low cost, low reward for them. I feel that is where I think they're going with.
Well, so Red, I agree with you. No, Red, I agree with you. But you know what? You've listened to the show. We've had some great people on that have been that are in the gaming media on the show. How many times can we say they can afford to lose? It only cost them this. It only cost them that. Every single thing we've said, okay? Cloud, that's not really taking off. Game Pass, I firmly believe it's not taking off as they intended. 5 years, 25 million people. No, they've gotten big publishers. Bethesda's in there. Nobody cares. My point, now you say, well, Mooch, again, Red, I agree with you. That's a very inexpensive investment to see if maybe they can spark something, but that doesn't work. We just gave you Octopath Traveler, Ni no Kuni. Yep. You've got other. It's not working. So if it's not working, it's just loss. Even when you're a trillionaire, trillionaires like to do, Red. They like money. So
that is right.
So
and investors love money too.
Absolutely. So, like, when people keep saying, and I'm not saying you read it all. We've had 100 people easily on the show that are like, Mooch, you have to understand, it's a very inexpensive investment, and they can hemorrhage money forever. I get it. But eventually, there has to be a turnaround. Or as an investor, you say, we got to pull out of this. This isn't working out. So, Red, you're not wrong. But now that's just I'm you know what I'm doing right now with your not wrong statement? I'm putting it all the way on the top of the Jenga blocks, and there's a very light foundation left on the bottom here for investors. Yeah. So you're not wrong. But it's interesting nonetheless. And I gotta say, this has been just an outstanding Crossfire. And I love having we started the show with Red Hood, Pio, Jay Bari, myself, BRAP, and Xbot. And I even said a few people weren't gonna be able to make it. And then some great folks stopped by and made the show absolutely electric. So I want to say I'm going to thank the people that are here first, and then I'll do a little quick outro for them, the folks that popped in, and give them a quick plug as well. I'll go in reverse order. Pio, first I want to say thank you for being on the show. It is very late over there in Sweden. I loved getting your take. It's a pleasure to follow you on Twitter. Your excitement for gaming it's allergic, man. People love it. It's contagious. People want to, they want to get into it. They go, Pyle, what's going on today, buddy? Tell me what you're eating and tell me what game you're playing. It's Friday. So people love the electricity you bring to Twitter and the gaming community. Let people know where they can find you on Twitter and YouTube, and I appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah, today I ate a lot of stuff. I had my cheat day, so obviously burgers. I ate some baguette. I ate Subway. I ate two Ben and Jerry's.
I'm jealous.
And then I'm playing actually indie game called Anno Mutation. It's very good. It's like a cyberpunk 2D game. I'm going to platinum that, and after that, I'm actually going to play the Call of Duty Modern Warfare from a few years ago. I never played it, but I have it still.
Very good game.
Yeah, I just want to play the campaign because I've been playing Call of Duty a long time, and a lot of my friends are getting Modern Warfare 2, so I'm probably gonna get that only because they're getting it. You know.
Yes.
Like I haven't truly played. Like I didn't like the beta as much, but it's fine. Like it's Call of Duty.
It's Call of Duty, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. The great Jay Bari has a list of issues, which he's not wrong either. But I did happen to, and I agree with Jay's list. I agree with Persona's list and Strictly's. But I did enjoy my time with it. I did. Yeah, I guess I've just become numb, and I just fall in line and love my Call of Duty.
My biggest issue is just the footsteps. Like that really.
It was bad. That's bad.
Yeah, it screws with my brain. Yeah, other than that, I'm really like I'm looking forward to God of War. That's like my number one priority. Like that is like my biggest game. Obviously I would be way more excited if it was daytime, but it's almost 3:30 right now, and I'm like that tired.
No. Well, I appreciate you being here. Like I said, I really do, Pyle. You know, people, you guys can go over and follow him on YouTube. He's Pyle White Wolf over on YouTube, and you know what? Actually, I have it right here, Pyle. It's missing, and it's so funny because I didn't know this. I thought it was just Pyle, but it's not. It's at MRPYO1, at Mr. Pyle1 on Twitter. Go over and follow Pyle on both YouTube and Twitter. Pyle, thanks again for being here, buddy. And you know what? Like I said, I like to space it out, but maybe in a month or two, I'll reach out to you again and see if we can keep you up late New York hours again.
Yeah, of course. Probably for God of War, right?
Absolutely for God of War. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you, Pyle. I appreciate you being here, buddy.
Of course. Thank you much.
And then I got the great Red Hood 420. Red Hood, listen, you know, first and foremost, let's just say thank God that you and the family are okay. You know, the storm is hopefully either passing you as we speak or gone. I hope there's no damage or any issues to the house. I want to say thanks for being here. Thanks for using the few batteries you had left in the house, literally to spend it with us and here on CrossFire. That means the world to me. But, Red, let everybody know where they can find you. And when there's better conditions, I am certainly getting you back on the show.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, I appreciate you, hitting me up about being on the show. Like I said, the show is great. Listen to it most of the time at work when when there's like a lot of stuff going on. So most of the time it's not live, but I listen to it, as a VOD, which, I know some people do that as well. And got to say that. And I want to give my appreciation out to Bit and Blaze for giving me a platform in RGT, which is at 5 o'clock. Check that out.
Yes.
And also Twitter and Twitch. You can Red Hood 420 on Twitch, streaming, talk about gaming news and some other like movie and news stuff, and then doing the whole Metal Gear Solid streams over on there. Very fun stream, so check that out. And Twitter at Red Hood 240. I do got to say one thing. Pio, one thing I have to say. I know you took a video from Blaze and stuff like that about him selling his PlayStation. Make sure to, blink that video out on the next viral tweet, so to speak. But I got to say that. But overall, great show, great talks, great talking point. And Mooch, you are always doing a terrific job on these podcasts. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Red. Honestly, a huge compliment. I love what you're doing on Twitch as well, man. If you looking forward to collaborating with you, doing something, you want to do a co-stream, just let me know, man. Especially with all the great games that are going to be coming out in the next few weeks. I think that makes it much, much more interesting for the audience to have two faces to look at and see the curiosity and the excitement that goes on as we stream those games. So, Red, thank you for all your support, too, and becoming a member of the channel. It means the world to me. And like I said, Red, I will reach out to you also in the next few weeks when we have some better conditions over there in the Carolinas. I thank you very much for being here.
No problem.
We got the great Jay Bari. Jay, listen, let's be honest, Jay. A lot of people tune into Crossfire, and they're like, there's a lot of yelling going on. See, for me, there's two things. You guys know, I'm Italian, and I'm from New York. And, Jay, I'm not going to lie to you. I know you know this. You're from the Bronx. Let's just be honest. I consider that just a normal conversation. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's a me problem. But I love having you on. I love having you on, Jay. I know you guys are not doing What's Up PlayStation tomorrow, but I got to say, outstanding job. Congratulations on your 100th episode with Persona. And thank you as well for all your dedication and support to the channel and being here on this Friday night. I think you're traveling or something along those lines. You're doing something this weekend that's a good time, I believe. And I appreciate you being here on this Friday night.
Yeah, man. Yeah, all the yelling and all that stuff, that's just normal, man. But
Right.
I you know, the chat, they're not used to that stuff, so that's
No.
why I was like, order. You know?
I feel like I'm Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future 1 when he's playing the guitar and he goes, "You kids aren't ready for that yet." That's just what we do here in New York. It's not my fault. But go ahead, Jay. Please plug the channel and let everybody know where they can find you.
Vibe, man.
That's right.
But no whoops this weekend, guys. Yeah, I will be traveling. You know, headed up to my best friend's. He's up in Massachusetts, so you know sometimes I just go over there, travel, you know, see him and his girl, and his dog's birthday. His birthday party's happening as well. So last year I did it for the first birthday, and now this is the second birthday. So you know, a little small little thing, but you know, little vacation, I guess. You know what I mean? But appreciate the invite, Mooch, man. Fun show, a lot of passion going on in here.
Yes.
Hopefully all you guys sign up for PlayStation Stars, and we all can be level 4 on the tier list. You know what I mean? So we can skip all these casuals and tell them on Twitter that, hey, I skipped you. You know what I mean? So, to piss them off.
You said we can all do it. If I can be a level 4, you could be a level 4. No, absolutely, Jade. I apologize for interrupting.
Absolutely. But you can reach me at jbarry_ on Twitter and jbarry on YouTube, man. Don't follow me or subscribe if you're sensitive. But yeah, if you like gaming content and all that stuff, then hey, it is what it is. Come on through. We're gonna have a good time. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Valkyrie Elysium review videos coming very soon. I put up my short review on the game. Super addicting game. Love the combat. Love a lot of things about the game, but there's a few chinks in the armor that I felt like you know, hopefully they can improve on if they continue the series. But I'm happy to see that a Valkyrie game is actually out again.
Yes.
On consoles. And yeah, I think if you guys like the first 2 mainly, you know, I mean, the other ones I don't think nobody really played because that was like a mobile. This is definitely a pickup for you, because I think a lot of people's gonna like the combat. But it's not a perfect game by any means necessary or any means. But I think overall, I played the demo through twice. I'm picking it up tomorrow. There was just something that happened that was a fluke. None of the GameStops had the game in stock. They're getting them tomorrow. So I think even Chris Righteous said that his was delayed. This is one of those games where like physical is probably going to be like very hard to get. But if you got one, is, you know, and you later down the line want to sell it, it's gonna be worth a lot of money, because I don't think they're gonna be printing out a lot of physical versions. No, and that's exactly what the manager of GameStop said. They said they're not getting many, so I know he's getting 1 or 2 tomorrow. I'm gonna be over there. I'm grabbing that. Like I said, I played through the demo twice. Like Jay said, I'll wait for Jay's review on it. But I gotta be honest with you, it's not a perfect game, but I had a really good time playing what I played through it. So that'll keep me busy till Gotham Knights. So absolutely, Jay, thanks for being here. And Worry, you worked all night and then you came over here. I appreciate that. Just want to say thanks, because I really do. The reason I really wanted you to be on the show tonight was you and I have been talking for a while, and this is one of those shows where a lot of the topics we talked about that are scattered all kind of come back into one melting pot here. So Worry, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. Let them know where they can find you, because you are making insanely amount of great videos on YouTube. I'm jealous and I need to catch up.
I had a great time listening to BRAP try and fit a round peg in a square hole earlier. That was fun. You can find me on WoolleyGamer Twitter, WoolleyGamer YouTube. Thanks for having me. I'll do another one in another year, probably, podcast.
I'm glad. After Worry does a CrossFire, he takes a good year off before another show. Shout out to Game with Persona. He goes, great show. Persona, thank you, buddy. We're going to miss you on Whoops tomorrow, but I'm looking forward to next week already. It's how I start my Saturday mornings. I'll have to watch the Sean Layden episode again. Let me just say thanks to Xbot448. He has to leave. He's at the kids, so at 9 o'clock, he does have to pull the eject button, and he goes. But check him out on next podcast Thursdays at 8 p.m. And you can follow him at Xbot448 everywhere. And then there's BRAP. It's BRAP_podcast on Twitter and BRAP podcast on YouTube. Go over and check out BRAP. That's Wednesdays, 9 p.m. We had the great Jez7780 on. We had Porter Rock 77. You guys know who he is. You know where they are. It's Grind My Gears. And I have, trying to think here. Is it, help me out with, Jay, you're on it all the time. What's up, Porter Rock's podcast? I watched it this past
frames,
week.
no
60
lag.
frames, no lag. Thank you. I'm like drawing a blank here as I'm typing to the people in the chat. But I want to say thanks to
there's a lot of podcasting out here, man. But it's very entertaining. There's no way people as viewers cannot be entertained.
You cannot be not entertained with P-Rock, man, and his takes, his hot takes on Twitter are hysterical. I love it. And I love the podcast that you guys do on Tuesday nights. So, guys, keep it up. Do what you're doing. And I hope I didn't forget anybody, someone else. Shout out to Gaming with Persona, who I just said thanks to. Anyways, but shout out to Gaming with Persona. Check him out at Persona Speaks on Twitter, and it's Gaming with Persona on YouTube. He also does a solo cast on Monday nights, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, What's Up PlayStation with Jay on Saturdays. That being said, guys, we'll see you next Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here. Really enjoyed everybody. Thanks for the super chats. By the way, shout out to FAKEManBearPig. He says, Chop, he's making fun of me. The Braves are beating my Mets. I think 4-1. It's killing me. It's made the podcast very difficult for me, folks. Guys, root for the Mets. We're the good guys. We'll see you guys next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace out. Good night.